Hey, now. Tonight's the night. Oh,
Are you singing to us?
yeah,
Are you being
tonight's
serenaded?
tonight. Welcome to the Tam and D show. I'm Tam. Uh, this is D. I always do it the opposite way. Yeah.
I'm
And
deep.
tonight, I'm not going to even do all the introductions and so forth. I don't know. Do I need to do all of that? Well, women in Linux.
No, we can do like I'm pretty sure everybody knows who we are, and I
Yeah,
can put that up on the screen.
yeah,
We are
women in
Women in
Linux.
Linux.
Go to womeninlinux.org and check us out. Hit connect to connect with us on Slack. Once you get there, you can also hit the donate button as well too. You will need the Slack app if you are going to do the Slack. You can also find us on meetup.com / women in Linux, where we have meetups on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I didn't have one last night. Um, just
We
wanted
didn't
a
have a
break.
study group last night, which was a Thursday,
Well,
but
see, I don't look at it like a study group. I look
I
at it
do.
like I'm
I
still
do the
doing a
schedule.
training.
We
I
do.
still
I
be
mean,
doing the full blown training.
it is a full blown training, but it's the RSCHA study group. Like that's what everybody comes in there because they're studying for the test.
Yes, but it's still a training.
So
It's
they're
still it's
very
still it's
intentional.
still it's still something that spill over from Wednesday, and we'll pick it up on Thursday, and go from there. What's going on, Afri Peak? What's going on? How you doing? I mean, you're welcome for the space. I don't know how we put so much into that space, from scholarships to where you can get free training, free books, discounted books, recruiters, people that are hiring, uh, literally people that are hiring in their department. Like literally, they're hey, I have this job open and I'm doing the hiring and I'm the manager. So um, that's where we're at. But let's get to why we're here. Um,
Why are we here, Tim?
I want to bring it up. Hold on, give me 1 second while I go maneuver to bring this up. But it was more or less about what the conversation that I had the other night on the Lapeef show, and one of the things that came up was, are you a diversity hire? And people were saying they didn't want to be a diversity hire. And my thing with being a diversity hire was, who cares if you are a diversity hire, right? Um, how would you know? It's first thing first, and the second thing is, um, what skill sets do you have coming in the door? Uh, it's really the most important one, right? So I'm just gonna, I don't know, should I play the clip?
Why not?
Okay, hold on, and let me know how this comes across. So here we go. All right, so let's go back to what you were talking about with diversity hires, right? So your stance is you think it's bad, right? That's your stance, correct?
No, I think the way. No, I don't think diversity hires are bad. I think diversity in like the inclusion departments, the way they work right now, like as is, right? I don't think diversity like let me put it like this. I'm gonna make it very short and sweet for you. I think diversity is actually it's not even like the way that it's pitched as a social justice kind of thing these days, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's actually more so a business case than anything, right? Like in
Mm-hmm.
other words, I think you could do more by making a business case out of diversity, right? Like let's take tech as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
If if you're building a product, a piece of software, whatever, right? You want people using your product to be able to like you want to build a product that the people using it can relate to, can that it works as possible for them. So like
Mm-hmm.
so if we take for example social media, like
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, it's most of let's say the memes and all that stuff. It's a lot of it is produced by black people, right? We know this,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So if you're building Twitter, it would make sense from a business perspective to build Twitter so that it works as well as possible for Black people, since they're creating a lot of
Well,
your
across all cultures, let's say that.
since they're producing a lot of your content, right? So the point I'm making here is that it always amazes me because you could actually make a much better case by just making it a business case, a bottom line case. Like if your product works better for most people, if you have a diversity of thought, right, around the development of this
Mhm.
product, right, that means more, that means you've thought through it more, um, not just based on Black people, white people, but a diversity of the group of people who could use it, which means your product is open to more people as well, right? Which
Mhm.
potentially means more users, etc. Anyway, there's a number of ways you can pitch this, but my point is that I see it more as a business case than a social justice case. And so a lot of these diversity and inclusion departments are built around the social justice narrative, and they're unchecked in most cases. People don't want to be honest about this. I'm being honest about it. They're unchecked because no one can check them because everybody's afraid to check them. And then I don't believe
I
they're
don't know if they're
producing the
afraid to
best.
check them. I think they check them, and I think they check them, and at the end of the day, they just write them off. They just end up rolling out.
Tam, I'm literally talking to the guys who are like afraid to check these people. Like that's what
That,
this is.
that may be
This
in
is
one. That
coming.
may be. That
Tam,
may
this is
be in
coming
one.
from a specific place. When I say
That,
this,
that
I'm not
might be
just
in one case, but I'm telling you from another standpoint, they just rolled them out. And I'm telling you from my experience, like we both got experiences. They just eliminate the position and they just roll them into something else. So it works both ways. Now you said earlier when it comes down to being like a diversity hire, not like a chief diversity officer, but to a diversity. Honestly, I wouldn't even care if I was a diversity hire. I don't care what you talk about at lunch. I don't care what you say about me. My goal is to go. All right, let's pause there. So let me tell you uh, why I don't care. I don't care because at the end of the day, you're in there to do a job. You're in there to get things done. And I go on to say that in the video. I also go on to say that in that video, when it comes down to whether you're a diversity hire or not, how would you know? How would you even know if someone is that you're working with is a diversity hire, right? How would you know? So, I want to pull that out because there were some people in the comments saying like some other stuff, and we're gonna get in more into this. But I want to make it clear is how would you know if you're a diversity hire, and two, why would you care if you were a diversity hire? Um, I think the things you should be caring about is what skill sets can you get, what can you what value do you add to the team, and also what can you do to improve basically what you're hiring for is the ROI. So let's get back into the rest of the video so you can see why we're having this discussion tonight. It kind of lends the lens into what we talked about the other day where the guy was like, since he stated, since I'm Asian, I'm gonna hire uh pretty much all the people that are Asian that I can, because I don't want because the cards are stacked against them anyway. And so again, here we are talking about a diversity hire, and the question is, what defines, what is diversity, right? How do you define diversity, right? That's one of the things. And Professor Black Ops, if you know how to get in touch with Jonathan, tell hit Jonathan up, let him know I'm going live so we can have a conversation. It has to be a conversation. It cannot be we over talk each other. It has to be a conversation. All right, let's get back into it. In there and make as much money and make as much movement as I can. That's the attitude to have. I get around people. We both work in tech. I get around people. I don't care if they're white. I don't care if they're Asian. They don't know just as much as we do. I see it all the time. They get rolled into a job. They work. A friend of theirs work there. They hire 'em. It works. It works that way. That's just what it is. But at the same token, who cares if I was a diversity hire? I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you. At the end of the day, I'm gonna do my job. I'm gonna cut my check. I'm gonna come get these free resources, and I'm gonna move on. That's the attitude to have. We can't sit back and say, "Oh, I'm not gonna take this job because I was a diversity hire." No, I'm gonna take this job. I'm a diversity hire. I'm gonna wave my flag. I'm gonna come to all the events. I'm gonna get all your resources, and I'm gonna go teach my other people that get the resources, and I'm gonna move on.
So Tam,
That's
how
the
do you think that
attitude.
sounds? So Tam, how do you think that sounds now? Because you said all the things you get out of it, right? But how do you think that sounds from a team perspective and from the organization's perspective? Which you just said.
I don't care. That's what I'm telling you. I don't care.
Okay, so then okay,
I,
that's
I
fine.
don't
Listen,
care because
listen,
at the
listen.
end of the
So
day,
Tam,
hold on, because I know
go
you
ahead.
like to
I don't
rattle.
care.
Hold on. I don't care.
I
I don't
don't
care
care.
what they're talking about. I don't care how they view me. I, at the end of the day, whoever cuts my check cuts my check. I go cash it. I go do my thing. I move on. I don't care what they're thinking about. That's what I'm saying.
But again, so
Hold on, this is
Tam,
what I'm saying
no.
to you. Listen. I've been in tech 21 years. I'm telling you from a perspective from a woman who has had a book thrown at her. I'm telling you from a perspective from a person who's been called the N word. I'm telling you from a perspective from a person who has seen it all. I don't care.
I hear you. So
Cut
Tam,
my check.
Tam. Okay, cool, Tam. I heard that, right? You don't care. But what I'm saying
Right.
is, I don't want somebody who doesn't care on my team. That's my
That's
point.
fine. You know
Okay,
what you
so
no hold
again,
on no what you're here
so
no
let me
hold on what you
Tam,
hear. I don't
Tam, you
care.
gotta let
No, no, listen.
Tam, you got
Listen, there's a
Tam, you
difference
gotta
in
let me
me not
hold
caring
up.
about. All right, so of course he took that out of context. What I'm saying is, I don't care about what you think about me. I care about what we have to do for this task and for the company. And I don't know how that got conflated when it comes to that. I mean, it's just, I don't even know how that got conflated. But I'll go on to talk about that because the two are not together. When we talk about uh, what my teammate over here doesn't like me and this other teammate over here doesn't like him and this teammate over there don't like each other, do you think that's going to stop people from working to accomplish a task? In some cases it can, but it shouldn't, because you got a common goal, and that common goal is to get that task done. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, whatever, however you many weeks, whatever. You got a common goal, and that's to get the task done, period. All this other stuff about going to work and they don't like me, and I can't believe, how many people ain't gonna like you throughout a lifetime. They didn't like you in elementary school. But you kept going, and for some people that they stop. Some people do commit suicide. Some people do go down that rabbit hole. But where did we come to the point where we go to work, where we're going for the likes versus the respect? Where's your respect for yourself, for your work, for what you have to put out, your skills? Where's your respect? I'm confused as to why we're here, because at the end of the day, the people that I work with, they're like, yeah, you're nice, but are you producing? And that's every person that I have worked with. Every person that I work with, they want they want results, and that's just what it is. And anybody who knows, anybody who's been on anything women in Linux, I talk about your skill sets every single day. He agrees with skill sets. He agrees with that, but he doesn't agree with the like. And there's a difference between having like and respect. My philosophy is this: if they don't like you, they'll respect you because they see that you produce. Do you know how many people move up the chain that people don't like, and they still move up to be CEOs, CTOs, chief engineering officer, whatever the case may be? They move up. Why? Could be relationships. But you do you think them people stop to take time to be like, oh, that person didn't like me, so I'm not gonna apply for that job? Oh, they still gonna keep applying. They still gonna keep moving up. I see your comments in the chat. I'm gonna get to them, but let's get back to it real quick. How
Hold up,
you view
Tam,
me
Tam,
and me
Tam,
doing
hold
my
up.
work. That's two
Tam,
different
Tam,
things.
Tam, Tam. Let me just
Go
Tam, let me
ahead.
just respond, right? Let me respond. My
Go
point is
ahead.
this: is that I'm not saying this specifically to you, right? My
Hmm.
point is this: is that when you're hiring, you're not hiring people to just be in a silo. You're not hiring. You're not
We're
just
not.
bringing
I'm
people
not
onto
gonna
a
be in this
team. Oh,
silo.
Tam. I just listened
I'm
to you,
not
right?
gonna
So
be in
so
this
you have to
silo.
be Tam. I just
I'm
listened to you,
listening to
right? So you
you.
have
I'm
to.
listening to
But
you.
you're interrupting. You're interrupting me, right?
Go
So
ahead.
I so
I'm gonna go
okay.
on mute. Go ahead.
When you're hiring, you're not hiring people. I'm not bringing somebody onto my team, right? Just so that they can not care, right? I actually explicitly want people who care, right? I want explicitly want people who care, people who want to work as a team, people who like that. All that stuff actually matters. All that stuff actually contributes to. And this is a word I actually hate a lot in corporate America, the whole culture word. But still, technically speaking, Tam, you got to hold up, right? I'm not done, right? So technically speaking, that you need people, right? You want people to who cares for the team as well. And on top of that, this I don't care mindset. The other aspect of it too is when I was talking about competence earlier, and again, I'm in engineering, so I can only speak about engineering. I want a teammate who, when I say I want them to, you say, oh, okay, you shouldn't care on a personal level, sure, but I actually care, right? Because if I have to collaborate with you on a project, right? If there's an issue, if there's a bug and I need to fix it, right? I need to know that my teammate is competent enough to fix this bug with me, right? Like I'll give you a perfect example. Tim, I'll give you a perfect example right now, right? I once had a teammate. I'm not going to name things so that I don't expose anybody. But I once had a teammate who came out of a boot camp, right? Coding boot camp. Now I don't have issues with boot camps in general, but one issue with boot camps is if you go to the boot camp and you just learn web development, right? You're not really well equipped to solve a lot of the problems that you run into in the real world. So basically, when we would run into issues that had to do with memory, for example, like the app freezing up because it's using too much of the heat or whatever, right? Um, this person is basically completely clueless, right? And so I would want to know if I'm hiring somebody, I would want to know that this person's qualified, right, to be it's qualified to be my partner when I run across these issues, right? But if we just have this person coming through in a different pipeline, and I'm just saying, well, I don't care. They just like how does that benefit the team?
Yeah,
How does that benefit us as a team?
you're conflating two different things. You're conflating competence versus like. Competence is I can walk in the room, I can sit down with the team, I can work with the team, and I can do what I need to do. If they don't like me, that's on them. The bottom line is we need to get this job done. Sprint one, sprint two, 2 week sprint, 3 week sprint, 1 week sprint. I'm here to get a job done. It's not a like thing. Now, if you feel like you can't work with me on what we need to do, that's something that you have to figure out for yourself. Because at the end of the day, that task needs to get done. We're
But
not
that's not the
here.
premise of this
I'm not.
argument.
I'm not here to like you. I'm here to like what I need to do, get the ROI that I need, get my sign on bonus, and get my bonus for us creating this task or completing this task. That's it. When you're talking about does the person have the competence to do it, now you're getting into whether or not that person should have even gotten the job. That's something totally different. So just because you're a diversity hire doesn't mean you're not competent.
So you
That's
don't
the
think it?
other
Hold
thing.
up. So what up? So you don't think it matters that your teammates actually like you?
No, it doesn't matter if I trust me. I worked on teams that the team a person didn't like me. That doesn't stop us from
I'm not talking
completing
about a
our
person.
goal.
I'm saying you don't think it matters that your teammates don't like you. That's
I
all I'm
have
asking.
worked on teams where where we didn't like each other. That didn't stop our goal.
So
That's
Okay,
is
what
the is
I
the
just
so is
want
the
you
answer
one
yes
thing.
or no? Is the answer
the
yes or no? You
answer
don't
is
think it
yes.
matters?
No, my team doesn't have to like me. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're looking at it from a perspective of the team needs to go out and we need to gel and have a beer and all of that. And I'm
That's not
telling
what I
you from
said, Tam. You're
listen,
adding a bunch of
I'm
extra
talking
stuff in
about
it. I
like. I'm
never said
talking
all that.
about like. I'm talking about like. And what I'm simply saying to you is this.
You don't
At
have
the
to go
end,
get beers to like each other. That's my point. You're adding all that extra stuff. I'm
but
not.
and you don't have to like each other to work.
No,
Effectively,
actually,
I,
no. Actually, I disagree.
no,
You
even
I,
effectively you don't. Let me tell you why.
I agree with that.
Let me tell you why you don't need to like each other to work. You got an assigned task. You put in that task what actually needs to get done. Step one, step two, step three. You go in, you write your comments on that. You effectively communicate to your team what needs to get done and how you did it. You're there to learn. You're there to learn from each other. If you can't learn from each other, And trust me, I'm a black woman, and I'm always the only black woman on the team. I'm always the only black woman in the company. I'm telling you from the experience of, I don't care about you liking me. I care about what we need to accomplish. I care about the goal we need to meet. What you're gonna find out is, as you continue, people start to like you because why? You get shit done. Get shit done, all that other stuff goes away. Period. All right, he keeps going. It keeps going. I gotta. I think I have to take pauses because I think the algorithm we thinking about something with the algorithm that you're copywriting and stuff like that. However, that's the end of the goal, right? At the end of the day, if I'm on a team, and it happens all the time. I can't think of a time in my engineering or in my tech experience that I didn't get that I didn't work on a team, and let me say this, a diverse team, um where we are working and somebody over on that team done like somebody on this team. In fact, I've been in situations where one team didn't like our team and we didn't like another team. But guess what? At the end of the day, you gotta get it done. Right? You gotta get the work done. Right? So, I mean, we can debate this like thing all night. And for me, it's not about like, it's gonna always be about your skill set and respect. When I interview people, I am looking for your skill sets. Can you convey to me what I'm asking you back in a clear manner? Does it make sense? Can I see this person on the team? I'm not looking for i'm not looking for whether or not if I can take this person and they can go out to lunch or what. That doesn't matter. Does the person do good work? Does the person have a good reputation of doing good work? Are there Is this person writing code and have memory leaks all over the place? Do we have to go back and rewrite everything every single time? That's what I'm looking for. That's not a light thing. That's a skill thing. That's a skill. What are your skills? And I think we get caught up with this diversity thing and we get lost into the words and what it means, and what it comes down to is, what are your skills? Now, do we have gatekeepers? Absolutely. Absolutely, we got gatekeepers, but there's ways around those gatekeepers. When one person turning you down, you go somewhere else. Do you get disgruntled? Absolutely. So that's why you have to network, and keep moving. But we can't sit here and beat ourselves up and wondering if the team likes me, or if I'm a diversity hire. So what? You in the door. Hope you negotiated. Hope you got what you wanted. Hope you build. Hope you're building up your actual skill sets, and understand how to maneuver and how to talk, and understand, if you don't do anything, you should always look at the company financials and what they're doing. If you're not looking at that, because you need to understand business, you need to understand why they eliminate a whole team. They eliminate a whole team. They eliminate a whole project. Yeah, yeah. Today is your last day. Appreciate you. Now you've been at this company. They liked you. They liked you. They kept their manager and maybe two people, and they eliminated everybody else. But you didn't get no skill sets while you were there. You didn't get any certifications, or you didn't network while you were there. And when I say network, you don't have to network only in the company. You can network outside of the company. And we got to understand how to utilize these things we have, hopping on meetups, hopping on Zoom calls, attending these little virtual tech conferences. You got to utilize what you have, and we don't do a good job of that. It's just bottom line. And the reason why I say we don't do a good job of that, because of these kind of conversations. I shouldn't be having these kind of conversations right now. And in even in in some of the comments, it's not his comments, but some of the comments throughout, you could just tell that, you know, you don't have the experience. You're not looking at yourself as an asset. You are an asset. I say it all the time. D, put it up. Be the solution. Be the solution when you walk in the door. The reason why that position is open because they need a particular job field. There's something, there's a need there. You got to be able to fill that need. If you're not able to fill that need, what's the point? And you can also drop the link to StreamYard as well too. Let me keep going.
So
This is
again,
like
we agree
That
on
that
hold up, hold up. So we agree first of all, we agree on just being productive and being competent. So we don't
That's
disagree
it.
on that. But so okay, but I do think it is important
No,
your
you
for your
like my
teammates to
work.
actually
You can like my work and you
no.
not
I
like
actually
me.
think no. No, because again, we're still humans here. We're not robots. So
No,
this idea, no, hold up.
I
No, like
disagree.
this
I'm
idea,
sorry.
hold up. This idea that we don't have to like you. I'm not saying I have to go grab a beer with you. Everybody I work with, I don't need to actually have to go grab a beer with them or feel that comfortable with them. That's different. There's still levels to this. But I'm saying at a minimum, I have to. And in fact, that's just a general like rule. Like if you in terms of like, for example, first impressions when you're dealing with people, right? The first step is do I feel like I like this person, right? A lot of
all right, first impressions. I've never met a person and said, "Oh, I don't know if I like this person." That's not my first impression. My first impression is this person shady or not. D, chime in whenever you want. You're on mute, by the way, D, if you are chiming in.
I'm gonna wait till you finish and we get it all out.
Okay, your sound is loud. All right, back to the show. All right, back. We're going back.
even when you look at interviews,
No,
a lot of the
But why
times
would they
you may
not
have
like her?
That's
hold up.
exactly
no,
what I'm.
no.
But why
You
would
you
they
should
not like her?
you
Because
should be
she's
feeling like
diversity
no.
hire?
You should be feeling
No,
like
y'all.
can
No,
this
that's not.
person
No, no. You.
accomplish this goal? That's what you should be feeling. Is this person competent enough to accomplish this goal? Can I sit down in a meeting with this person and we effectively communicate and we go our separate ways?
But
It's not about the light.
why are we acting as if relationships don't get you into positions? Like why?
I,
Why
I,
don't we?
I didn't
This
say
is.
that.
This,
Exactly.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you didn't say
So then
that,
how do
but
you take
we
like
need to
out of
make it
this?
clear. Let's make some things clear. There should be a balance. If you're this dickhead that's good at his job, you're going to be a dickhead stuck in a position.
No,
But
you
if
won't.
all right, no, but because people if won't. you Okay, see, now I if you disagree with see, that if because you, people
Dick,
won't work with
dickheads,
you.
dickheads move up
It's
the corporate ladder. Now I'm gonna ask this question to the audience: how many people you know that are complete a holes and have moved up the corporate ladder? How many a holes have you met in position of power? How many? You have
I
you
mean,
ever
they get the 9 times
loud?
out of
You
ten
gotta
based
get
on
loud.
business. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you was loud coming in.
No, not 9 times. I had it loud so I can listen to the video. 9 times out of 10, the assholes get the leadership because they have the I don't give a F mentality. Period. If it was a job that was based on likes, then you would still be in the pool working with the worker bees. You have to have a certain type of armor to be able to move into leadership.
I agree. I mean, like, the list goes on. I don't know. Like, yeah, like Calvin said, the answer is too many. It's too many. I mean, you seen the documentary with Facebook and how Mark Zuckerberg did. We've seen that. There's a ton of them, and they move up the ladder or they form companies or they get with each other and they form companies or somebody brings them in because they're cool. That's the relationship, but they always move up. It's never it's I've never met one that hasn't moved up, actually. And for me to say that I've met them meaning they're still employed. Right? Again, results is it, you could not be like be an a-hole and produce results, and that is totally possible. Steve Jobs. I mean, it's totally possible. So I don't know where this comes from, where you're gonna be stuck in this position. All right, let's get back to it. Let me get my thing over here.
But you know what? They may be to you, but they have tailored themselves to fit whatever narrative they need to fit to move up. That's why brown nosing is a thing. So
If you're a
they have
difficult
this
person
idea.
around in the
They have
workspace,
this
they're not
idea,
going to work with you.
right? Like no team is going to want to accept.
That's not true.
That you will not get promoted if people know.
Well,
Hey,
I have
don't
seen.
not
I
work
have
with
seen.
everybody.
I have
You
seen.
will.
Look.
You will.
I am in the military, and I've seen meritocracy at its finest.
All right, now watch the call out here when he tells me what branch he's in. For what branch of military he's in. Watch the call out. It's because of these are my experiences. I already knew what it was before he even said it, but just watch the call out.
And people, even with the highest merits, if they don't have a good attitude, will not go far.
That
As a
must
matter
be
of
that you.
as a
must,
matter of
you must
fact,
be in
there's
the Air
politics.
Force.
There's
That must be the
politics.
Air Force.
Yes, it's in the Air Force, but it's
Okay,
also
so
in the Army, and it's
in the
also
Navy is something totally different. Why does Tamika say that? Because Tamika got experience from all the branches. Professor Black Ops, you already know. You already know where I'm going with this. You already know where I'm going with this. When it comes down to working with different people and all these different branches and stuff like that, you already know. Sorry, is you may seem like I'm stereotyping. It just is what it is. You automatically know when you're working with somebody who's been in the Coast Guard, somebody who's been in the Air Force, somebody who's been in the Navy, somebody who's a Marine. So I just know, and it's not because of I got a stereotype of them. I just know how some people have been trained, and that comes out in their conversations. And this is why I get back into understanding the room and understanding who people who people are when you're meeting them and talking to them, mannerisms, how they act, how they talk to you. All these things are very important, and they're very important, especially when it comes down to um, understanding the culture and of that person, where it gives you a glimpse into who they are. So you understand, like it's almost like psychology, if you want to look at it, where if you really want to look at it that way, or you're doing really an analysis of that person. It's just what it is. And you see it. All right, let's get back to it. Different. Listen,
you can't say
what I'm
something totally
saying.
different when the same people are reporting the same things.
But
The
listen,
military and the military is based off of merit. Even in merit, there's still politics. There's politics everywhere you go. And
So
politics,
Tam, what is culture fit?
so you know what? That's a great word. I have no idea what culture fit is. What is that? Because to me, is such a person team dependent situation. I could work on a team, and that team has built a culture where they like to go out and hunt for mushrooms, and I don't. And because I don't like to go out and hunt for mushrooms, they don't like me. Because I don't, but it has nothing to do with my job. That's what I'm
But
saying.
again, but
You,
again, so
you,
Tam, you're
you
kind of proving my point here. My point is the
but
very fact
listen to
that
what I'm
like
but
companies
listen to what I'm
value culture
but
fit.
listen to what I'm saying. I don't get fired because I don't like
Tam, we're
going
not
to hunt
talking
for
about Tam. We're
mushrooms.
not talking about you specifically, Tam. Again, you're making this
I'm
about
just
yourself.
no,
We're not
but
talking
what
about
I'm
you
simply
specifically.
but
I'm speaking generally
listen to
speaking.
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it is a separation of the two, and we have to get out of that mindset as Black people that I don't fit that culture. I don't fit into that culture. Like I hate that word when it comes up because I don't know what it means because it means so many different things to so many people. What the answer should be is what problem am I here to solve?
But
What
Tam, see,
problem
we're
are
not
you
talking about what
having?
it should. So
Good.
so that's the thing, right? We're not
But
talking about
but but
shoulds here.
hold on,
We're
hold
not
on,
talking
hold
about
on,
shoulds.
hold on. But you can walk. You can control the interview when you. All right, so let's bring D up because there's more to this video. So D, give us a definition of what uh culture fit is. Give us a definition. Give us the textbook definition of what culture fit is. You're on mute.
Okay. You said, what is culture fit? So, cultural fit is the likelihood that a job candidate will be able to conform and adapt to the core values and collective behaviors that make up an organization.
So
Cultural fit, go ahead.
so core values and collective behaviors.
The Kool Aid. I'm
Okay.
like, well, just follow Jim Jones. Okay. Cultural fit and functional fit are two criteria that human resource departments consider when evaluating candidates for employment.
Say it again. Say it louder. The last part.
Cultural fit and functional fit are two criteria that human resources departments consider when evaluating candidates for employment.
All right. So now the question is, what is the culture of the company? And you'll go on different websites, and you'll see different definitions of cultural fit. It's all over the place. It's all over the place when it comes down to cultural fit. So now the question becomes is are what is the culture of the company, and do you like it? And so you have a right in the interview to ask, well, what is the culture of the company? How many people ask that question? How many people literally ask that question? Do you ask that question? What's the culture of the company?
And I think people see these taglines, and again, we had the conversation the last live um, about me looking at the team, and they put up these pictures of people in the waiting room, and the people having a good time or drinking beer and all that other good stuff, and they try to give you a glimpse into the culture, and they always make that culture look fun and airy and young and hip. And again, like you said, so what type of work are we doing here? I mean, thank you for the free peanuts doing work in the snack bar and Taco Tuesdays, but what do we do?
All right, so here we go. Amazon, our culture is defined by our 14 leadership principles. These principles have evolved, again, evolved over time based on Amazon's growth needs and learnings. So don't feel like you need to copy them word for word. Now, one of the things that Amazon is obsessed about is customer obsession, bias for action, and ownership. Ownership is super huge, right? So they all have their 14 principles of leadership. I don't know if you ever looked that up. 14 principles of leadership, and I'm only using Amazon as an example. There are plenty of other companies I could have used as an example, but let's just stick with Amazon for right now, right? This is what they consider their culture. This is what they consider their culture. Customer obsession, ownership, event and simplify, or write a lot, learn and be curious, hire and develop the best, insist on the highest standards, think big, bias for action, frugality, earn trust. I want to keyword there, earn trust, dive deep, have a backbone, disagree and commit and deliver results, right? There's nothing in here that said, I gotta like you or I gotta like my team. In fact, one of the biggest things is, let's scroll back up. What was it at? Are right a lot. Leaders are right a lot. They have a strong judgment and good instincts. They seek diverse perspectives and work to disconfirm their beliefs. I put it out there and that challenge me. I put it out there, now what? You don't like me, now what? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Again, I go back and stand by my statement. When you are putting it out there, make sure you got the know how to back it up, because at the end of the day, somebody is going to earn what? Your respect, and they will earn your trust, right? Because now you coming in again to what? Deliver results. You solve problems. Period. If you're not about solving problems, why? What are you doing? What are you going to work for? You get it just to get a check? You can play that game and get a check. And when we talk about that, there's some people that don't want to do nothing else but that one job or that one thing that they're good at. They don't want to go, they don't want to move up, they don't want to move down. They just cool with where they at. And it happens. And it's okay if that's what you want. But if you want to make more money and if you want to move up, right? It it can happen. All right, let's get back to it. Interview. You need to learn how to interview. You don't let them interview you. You interview them,
That's
so you
beside the
can
point.
control that narrative when
That's
you're
beside
when
the
you're
point.
having that conversation.
That's beside the point. Wait till when we,
No,
the point.
no,
The point
it is a great point because what ends up happening
Lost in the
is
wood.
you what ends up happening is you'll end up having an idea of what that person or what that team is made up of, and you can make a solid foundation and a solid decision whether or not you want to work there or not, or you
Okay,
want to
but
work
again, that
for that
Tam,
company.
that has nothing to do with what I just said. I'm literally talking about the reason I asked that question. What is culture fit? Well, my point is that there's a reason companies want culture fit, and they mention it. The reason they mention it is because they want people to have at least within the company. Doesn't mean you have to go grab beers, but they want you to have some kind of a synergy between individuals like you need to be able to at least like the person you're working with.
No, you need to be
Now
able.
like here
You
doesn't
don't
mean I
have.
need again
No, you don't
like
have to.
here.
You don't have to like. You don't
I
have to
think I
like the
think you guys
person.
get caught up on the word difference between like and respect. I can respect
Right.
you, not yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting this. All right, let me
Yeah.
let me let me explain this on this because on doing a simple task with somebody, I do not have to like you. I do not have to like you. But on the points that Jonathan and Cheeky is making, you're absolutely right in terms of what networking. You want to exhibit traits that people want have an energy around you. That people want to be around you. So if you're like not a person that it's difficult to work with, yeah, you will not get promoted. But doesn't mean can you still do your job? Yeah, they can people who are not really introvert, not really a people person, let them stay in the exact same position, and yet they'll stay there with the same amount of money and the same amount of thing for many, many years. But for people who actually want to network and and improve, they have to practice people skills and actually getting people skills, also being a like almost like a good quality person. But on what point that she's Tamiko saying, a simple task. Hey, I don't have to like you. I just have to respect
And
you.
again, Jedemiah, we don't disagree on this, but here's what this leads to, right? Here's what this leads to. What this ends up leading to is when they talk about, and again, I'm in tech, so I'm going to focus on tech real quick. When they talk about the fact that it's all these bros, it's all these tech bros. They always talk about these tech bros, right? The reason these tech bros work with each other and they promote each other is because they build synergy, they build relationships, right? They focus on the like, right? And so then somebody will
No.
say, "Oh,
No, they focus on getting shit done. That's the problem. All right. So look, how does that work? How do the bros work? All right. So if you never like watched a startup from the beginning, right? You see it. Somebody got the money, somebody got the skills, somebody got the relationships. You come together, you put your resources together, and you build. At the end of the day, it's how much money and how much time am I investing? If I put in 10,000 and I'm gonna get back 1 billion, I'm gonna put in 10,000. I ain't gotta like him. I gotta like him. I mean, do you let's be honest, let's be clear. Do you like Microsoft? Do you like Amazon? But you buy their stock?
No, real quick. So I have a friend, and back in the day when I was in the entertainment industry, and this person was heavy in the business, and in Atlanta they kind of were like all in the same office. And my friend, she was a no nonsense, tell it like it is person, where you just like when she say something, at sometimes you be like, okay. So one guy was in the building, and he did some work for her and stuff. And he told her, he said, and he started, moving up, shaking and grooving and all that other type of stuff. And he told her straight up, he said, the difference between me and you? He was like, you cannot like somebody and tell them you don't like them and not work with them. I cannot like that person and pretend like I like them to get what I need. It's about the task. It's about your goal. It's about, and it wasn't even a respect conversation. This was from a young white guy in his 20s that looked at, like, he was basically saying, I'm gonna pretend like I like you. I don't give a F about you, about what you got going on. I need something from you and I have to have it. So I'm gonna do what I need to do to get it. We can't hear you. I don't know if you're on mute or
I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm too old school. Maybe I'm the dinosaur in the game. But the whole light thing, I never experienced where my teammates were like, we want to keep you around, and we like you a whole lot, and so we're just gonna let you slide, because we really like you. It's all
yeah,
it
when
is. That's
it's
right,
very
Captain.
transactional.
It's very
It's
transactional.
very transactional. And that's what I always say. Like, I go into a situation with a goal, and that goal is me first. Like, what do I need? What do I need to have? Where do I want to get? What can this situation do for me? And a lot of people will say it's selfish. Well, it's about yourself. Are you going in there to work for the CEO? You might as well go in there for free. If you going in for a popularity contest and you did all of that work on your skill set just to be victim to and I don't even want to say camaraderie, but I can't even describe it because I don't care if people like me or not. And I think back in my youth, I always used to say, if you meet me, it's gonna be one of two things. You gonna like me, and we gonna be cool, or you're not gonna like me, and it's not gonna make a difference.
I think you do have to have the ability to effectively communicate your ideas and your tasks to your team members. Now, here's where the like may come into play, is whether your team members will listen to you or not. And then at that point, it's on you to say, what's the value add for me telling them this? Would it make our lives easier? Do I need to tell someone else? Do I need to? It all comes down to communication. But then again, at the same token, they may look at your idea and be like, "That's nice. We like you, but that's nice," and keep it pushing. So it's a catch-22 really when it comes to that. I always lean towards respect, right? I want you to respect my skills.
Yeah, Professor Black Ops said it's a generational thing, and you know, it is a society now where everything is like merit based. You go to Facebook, you gotta like it. There's a heart. They want you to join. It's about influence and who has the most influence, and you get rewarded for that influence. And so, if you're all day trying to absorb that influence and be who you need to be and exposing yourself, then you become a victim to that system. I also think it also has to do with maturity and building confidence over time. I remember when I was younger, had in being at home in California and me being okay with me. But when I moved to Atlanta, because I was around different people and I was there for an experience, learning how to scale back and listen and try to see how other people move from different places because it was different. So I think college is like your
It
first
was
job
diverse.
experience.
It was
Hmm?
diverse. It was diverse.
And we have this conversation is diverse is your experience, is your perspective. Because at the end of the day, if we're looking at diversity inclusion as a racial thing, as he said, I went to all black college, so we all look the same. However, we didn't grow up the same.
A diverse background,
Yeah, we didn't. We
diverse
had different
experiences.
perspectives, diverse backgrounds. I got, you see people from New York and Detroit and people from Atlanta. is Atlanta in itself, but different parts of the South and how people dialects are different. How people from the Midwest, but how the differences amongst them. So it was very diverse in that respect, but also um, being around your peers. And for me, it was like I didn't have as much confidence as I had at home because that was something that I knew. It was an unknown for me. And for me, I didn't feel like I had a safety net. So I had to scale back and be much more of an observer than a doer, if that makes sense.
Yep. All right, let's get back to it so we can finish this off. All right, going back in.
Hold on. Let me let Tam, you gotta let me finish my point. They focus on the like, and then after you get that like, right? Somebody obviously anybody. This is just a natural human thing, right? You're more likely to recommend somebody to be promoted to go higher into the organization if you feel some kind of connection to them, right? That's a normal human thing. This is not just so. In other words, this is why a lot of times when you talk about the tech pros, it's because they build that synergy. Okay, they build that synergy with each other. I have been invited to things that other people in the organization don't even know, like events other people in the organization don't even know
Just
are
'cause
taking
of
place.
But that was your network,
They,
though.
they don't even
That's
know
it.
they don't even know they're taking place. And the reason why though is because I am likable.
Right.
That's the
Yeah,
point.
but you are
It's because I
networking
am
by doing
likable.
that.
So
That's
when
what
they're
I'm saying.
thinking, hey, we're gonna have this offsite. So who should we invite? They're gonna invite me. You know how that helps me? That helps me go up.
Yes,
That
that's
helps
what I'm
me go
saying.
up. So
Networking.
that's the point. So you can't just take it out of the equation.
Well, well,
So hold on. So here's the other thing. The other thing about networking, you don't have to only network at your job. You can network outside your job. So the fact that you don't like me at my job doesn't stop my network or my net worth. So that's the other thing we got to get out of the mindset of is when I get in the job, I need to network all of it. If they
Because
don't
some
like
people
me,
don't want to be the
some
manager.
people don't
They are
want
simple.
to.
They are
Some
simple
people
to
don't
add their
even
position
care.
and move on. Like
Yeah,
I kind of get now where she's coming from. It's just
you
like
you got to understand. You got to
So then,
understand.
okay, so then when
You
that
got,
person
hold
is
on,
stuck in
hold
one
on. I let
position,
you
they'll
talk.
also
Hold
complain
on,
about
hold
that.
on. I
They'll
let you talk.
complain about
Hold
y'all.
on. I let you talk. When it comes down to your network and so forth and being likable, you know what actually makes them want to even work with you more. It's the fact that you get your job done. So your respect actually outweighs your like because you're actually getting the job done. Now, in cases, do people actually like you and want to invite you to stuff? Yes, but you may not get offered the work. You may not get offered the money or the power to do it. But somebody who may be just a total asshole may actually get and actually get the work done. They may actually invite that person. It happens all the time.
The
I'm done.
like definitely comes first. I
yeah,
disagree with that.
we need to
Yeah,
move on to
that's
the next
fine. You
caller
may
though. But
think
thank
you.
you.
All right, that was it. That was it. Anybody that want to come up, come up. You're more than welcome to talk. Whatever, whatever. I just want to put that out there. What what took place? Why we're having this? How do you know if you're a diversity hire? Guess what? You don't know. And I want to say this too. If somebody tells you you are a diversity hire, tell them thank you. Thank you, because now I'm going to make sure I use the resources that the job or this company has. I appreciate you. You. Thank you for letting me win. I'm echoing on your end, Dion.
Hey, if it was four of us that came in and based on merit, we were all in the running, and it was those extra little check boxes that got me to the top. Um, who am I to deny them such pleasures? Because
Who
at
am
the
I?
end of the day, a job is not going to hire you if you do not have the skill set. It is a bad business decision. So to even think that jobs are just hiring people coming with no skills and coming out of coding camps that haven't passed their testing or didn't know what they were talking about, you can be an intern for that.
Oh, and let me address this comment. You can put it up on the screen. Let me address this comment because I put it up there. And I invited the person to the show, but I don't think they're gonna come to the show. And if you're in our comment section, please come up. Go ahead and put it on the screen. All right, so let me blow it up here because you can't see it because I addressed it. Let me go back. Too big. Right here. It says Tam was the perfect example of a diversity hire that makes it harder for people who look like her. Okay, let's address that. The perfect example of a diversity hire. I don't even know if I ever was. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Uh, as far as me ever being hired, because I fit I check a box. I tell you the boxes that I check. All my skills, check the box. In every situation that I have ever gotten a job, I'm always tested on my skills every single time. It's never about, well, I think she could do the job with the right amount of training. It is, I always go in for a higher position where it's a senior position. So I don't know about if I'm being hired for a diversity hire or not. But at the end of the day, who cares? I'm in there to learn. I'm in there to make get my ROI from this company and vice versa and go from there.
If you did
So
not have the skills, it'd be a short job.
so again, I don't know where that person's coming from for that, so I wanted to make sure I address that. And if you're in, like I say, if you're in the actual comments on this channel, please come up. I would love to have a logical conversation with you because you wouldn't know if I was a diversity hire or not. So that's that's
Thank,
my
like it's on my little plaque. Tamika Reed, diversity, our newest diversity hire.
right.
She's on the infrastructure team, the DevOps team, and she will be leading shits and giggles.
Right.
It makes
I
no
I
sense.
don't know. And then two, I just that ain't never been my thing, man. That has just never been my thing. What's going on, sir?
Oh, I was just solely disappointed in that discussion. That's all I'm gonna
It
say,
made
man.
it made you mad, right?
Yeah, but that's really the new millennial, and I get on them all the time. So I think
Those
it's a
might have been a little
generational
X.
thing.
That might be
So
a little Z, a little Z,
yeah, they were little. Because I'm
little
like
Gen
you
Z.
is, and I actually talked to my boss, and I didn't know he gave it was a diversity test, and he said, "Well, you were number two. I took this test. I was number two out of everybody. They gave me extra 10 points. I told them, keep your 10 points. I didn't need it. I'm still number two, right? So, but my thing is the things that those young guys don't understand. And I believe, because, they think it's a meritocracy. I work with a lot of dumbass people because they had hookups. It wasn't they better than you. And I promise you, all those black guys, when the company profits go down, your ass gonna be the first one fired. I promise you. And they don't care if what you this you like. It's not about being like you a resource. That company really don't care about you. If you die tomorrow, they're gonna hire somebody on Monday, player, to take your job. So they all into this warm and fuzzy, and people gotta like you. Man, I work with a lot of people. I can't stand their ass. I promise you. So
But
I'm
you gotta work with them to get the job
right.
done.
But I'm like you, my skill set's on another level. So I do
Right.
my job, come in. I'm not going to the company picnic. I'm not doing we had a pitch in, and my boss is cool. He said, "Hi Ty, why you don't come to pitch in?" I'm like, because I'm crazy. I go, I don't know who cooking that food, Tony. I'm black. I got to see what's going on in the kitchen, man. These people petting pets and dogs and cooking. I don't just eat
Kissing
everybody's
cats.
food. Yeah, I don't just eat everybody's food. I'm crazy. I said, so Tony, I'm gonna go to a restaurant. I don't know these people like that, man.
Right.
So, so they think it's a meritocracy. I've been to Silicon Valley. They all look like Mark Zuckerberg because they're pattern matching, man. They're
Right.
not looking for people like you. They're looking for a dude who went to an Ivy League school, dropped out, and his parents got a whole bunch of money. So I
They
was
looking for your skill set. They looking to see like,
facts.
do you have an idea? And I later on in that same video, I later on saying that if you have an idea that could bring more money to the company, don't take it to your manager. Put an appointment on on the CEO's calendar and take it to
Facts.
the CEO. And one of the guys was like, that's gonna get you fired. And I was like, when did we become shucking and jiving? Because all the CEOs that I know, they were like, anytime you want to talk to me, put it on the calendar and talk to me. And I'm like, you should go talk to the CEO. I did it. I talked to the CEO at Khaki, Ken. When Ken was the CEO at CACI, I would make sure I would make an appointment with him every month to sit down just to have a discussion. And he was like, Tamika, what's going on? How can I help you? What are you doing? How's the work down there? How's Florida life? What can we do to improve it? What is it that we need to be doing? Do you think we need to go after this? I set appointments on his calendar, and he was the CEO of CACI.
Yeah, most people ain't gonna do that, Tim. You on another level.
But
They
again,
told
you
you.
have, but
They
you, but
scared. They scared. They told you they were scared.
the question I have is, if you open up the door and you say give me a call or put an appointment on my calendar, I'm the one that's gonna put an appointment on your calendar.
They're never gonna do that because what they're telling you without telling you is they're not that good. Right? Their skill set's not at a certain level, so you have to be liked. Right? So if you it's different levels. And I was talking to my lawyer. I want to know I was talking about you today, Tam. I said, y'all the two
Uh-oh.
women that think everybody's at the top. They don't have your skills, Tam, so they scared.
Now, hey,
But I'm just telling you. So they
but
go with
everybody
the
has the option to get those skills
fact.
though.
I'm facts. But everybody's not good like you, Tam. Even though you think everybody can get those skills, you're incorrect, lady.
They
So
can get
that's
them.
so they scared to make that leap because they're not that good. So you have to be like, there's a curve. My boss was an asshole, but he's the best architect in the Midwest. I promise you.
And he still got his job.
Yeah, then nobody messed with that dude because he was making stuff happen.
But you know
What?
what?
Go
Also,
ahead,
is
D.
this, right? So, say you're at one of those meetings and the boss said he has an open door policy and he just wants to hear from you, and you are free to schedule yourself on his calendar, right? I don't care if your skills are not that good. You still make an appointment and
No, you
say,
don't.
you
No,
know
you
what?
don't.
This is, you go in there and say, hey, this is where I'm at, and this is how I feel I need to be supported. Because at the end of the, and I've always worked at companies where I can put my hand on the executive leadership, and or where the executive leadership has been just that accommodating, and they want to hear what's going on. Because what happens, especially like a CACI, is that it gets so far removed with all these people in the middle, you forget that they're human.
Oh, facts, because you're a resource. You're not a
You
human. You're a
forget that they're
resource.
human and that they need this type of feedback in order to build the company. And this is what diversity is. You bring your perspective to what's going on and how you can be supported. Because you might have some blockers in your way based on their own stuff that is keeping you from being the best that you can be.
The only problem with that, Tim, and I agree with you 100%, is when you jump the chain sometime, your managers don't like that shit. And they're going to come see you.
But it's not you jumping the chain.
It is.
No,
it's not jumping the chain. If y'all all at the same meeting, y'all all get on the same calendar.
I promise you, I agree with you. But I worked at DOD. Those dudes are ex-military. When you jump chain of command, they get upset. I'm not disagreeing with you. They get upset and they start grading you accordingly. They start making shit up.
It's not jumping the chain if you say, "Hey, put an appointment on my calendar whenever you want to talk to me."
But then also you can just be going to shoot the shit with the boss. Hey, how you doing? Because what you're doing is I'm positioning myself to prosper. So when he comes in and he has a meeting, he's coming to look for me just to say hi. How you doing? It doesn't have to be about what's going on at work and I'm going in there and I'm going to tattletale on somebody.
But that's what they think's happening. About myself. I don't disagree with you, but I promise you, I talk to managers and I worked at Khaki. They get upset with you because they don't know what you're telling the CEO. So
That's
your
their
med
business.
That,
the
but that,
problem
That's their
is,
but
own.
that's
That's
how,
their
but
own
that's how you know
insecurity, though.
you. That's how you know your spirit is messed up,
oh,
cause you
facts.
know. That's how
I'm
you
not
know your
disagreeing
spirit.
with, but
But
y'all see people like that though, right? I'm not
but
making it
yeah, I
up.
mean, I seen people like that, but again, I don't care. That's not my problem.
Where my man go? I done talk so long. I was gonna let Albert talk. I've been up here. Bring Albert.
I asked Albert, was he here? Because he been on mute and he hadn't
Oh.
said nothing. So I just took Albert down.
See,
Oh,
that's
there
what
he
I
is.
say. That's why I put in the chat. He don't be nice, man. She be dropping you.
Go
Albert, are
ahead,
you
Yeah.
Albert.
here?
Albert, go
Albert
ahead,
here.
man.
No,
He
but
here.
no, I was just trying to let the flow of the conversation go.
Oh.
No,
You
go
gotta
ahead,
speak
Albert, you
up,
Albert.
won't get
Albert.
in messing with me, Albert. You won't get in. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead,
No,
man.
but yeah, I agree. I be having these same talks
Can you guys
with
hear
it.
Albert?
Yeah, yeah, I have the same talks with some of the younger generation, and it's amazing that they think that, you know, this flat structure, right? That everybody is equal, that and all this stuff. It's not. You're always competing, even if you don't know you're competing. And the problem, listening to that whole conversation, the problem is the guy doesn't know it, but he's handicapping himself because his competition doesn't think that way.
Facts.
So you're tying one hand behind you. You're tying probably both hands behind your back by saying people have to be liked. Meanwhile, the guy next to you don't care about that. And he's ladder climbing. He don't care who's like. I'm not saying you. I mean, I'm not saying you go against your morals and values and stuff like that. But you can't care about like a solution doesn't like coming up with the best solution doesn't your 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 like or dislike of a person should not come in a way of you being able to collaborate with that person. There's people that I've had teams where I was an architect of couldn't stand the person, but as soon as he did something good, I was like, hey, that guy did blah blah blah. It's about being fair, and I think they mix up being fair with being liked. Those are two significantly different things. And it's you know it would behoove them to change that that concept of like, because there I can tell you there is a lot of technologists that don't care about that and will sit there in a room with 200 people on the phone and in a room and literally tell you, no, your idea doesn't make no kind of sense. It has
Facts.
nothing to do with them liking you or not. I literally told a guy that I used to work with for over a decade. I said, bro, if you say something stupid, I'm gonna call you out. And I like you, but don't say nothing stupid.
Oh,
I
facts,
mean,
bro.
like it. Those things have nothing to do with each other.
But they're into this meritocracy thing, and it's just at a big company, in the middle company, like you said, it be cutthroat. And I promise you, if the profits go down, them dudes gonna be the first one fired. I promise you.
The whole
Um,
team, the whole
Hey,
division, the whole nine.
those
yeah.
skinny dudes with hoodies is the ones you need to look out for. You looking out for the street dude. It's the skinny dudes with hoodies.
Oh,
Those are the sharks.
yeah. Because
Trust me.
I'm a consultant. I seen 60 dudes walked out on a Friday. They didn't care. Grown men crying because the project was over budget and wasn't going. They decided to cut 60 people, and they were consultants. They just walked them out. They didn't care about you. They didn't care about your family. They weren't producing, so they just walked you out. So I'm from that state of mind. So what they talking about to me, and let's be real, there's a ceiling on this. There's very few black people that are in vice presidencies, all that. They got the talent, but it's that way for a reason. So you think you're gonna magically break 100 years of that? Dude, you crazy, man, because they like you. You
No.
crazy,
And
man.
most of those projects, the same people are on each project because they go
Facts.
from project to project to project. And when you
Projects.
get on that project, they say, do you know somebody? And they be like, okay, I'm going to bring the last people that I worked
Yeah.
with because you know what? We've been working. So let's all get them on because this is the nature of the business.
In fact, I haven't interviewed in 20 years because people asked me to come work for them because I was successful on a project. That don't mean they like me or nothing. They said I have expertise in federal compliance. Get Hightower. Because I'm gonna cuss a couple people out because my job is to get this thing done. So I have to hurt your feelings, player. I don't have a problem doing that because I'm fat. I'm gonna eat. So I'll get you fired. So them like, no, man, you better get this project done.
Right. It's all about the results, and again, for me, the results equals return into respect, and the
I
respect
will.
and the
I will.
respect turns into you getting more opportunities to
Yeah.
showcase your talent. It also gets you more opportunities in networking. So you get in on projects like that. And like I said before, you don't have to network only at your job. You can
Right.
network outside of your job. So if you're not being liked at your job, that's okay. Go somewhere else and network. And that's why we have like women in Linux. So you can meet
Facts.
a diverse set of people from different backgrounds.
Facts.
So you can network with those people. That's
Yeah,
what that is.
but like I said, my own issue, and I agree with him, is you want to be liked, I think, when you're not very good. Because I promise you, people like you, they might let you slide a little bit. So I think that's where they're coming from. This is meritocracy. If I mess up and you like me, right? Or if you like me, you're gonna promote me. No, I'm promoting the guy that's getting the job, or woman who's gonna get the job and get my team done. I like when people don't like my managers because a lot of times if people like you, they let you take longer lunches, let you mess up. Nah, I want my manager not to like you, then I know my stuff's getting done.
And
This
I
a,
want and I want my rewards reflected in my money. Period. Point blank. I show like me with a bonus.
maybe,
Period.
Facts.
Pay
maybe.
me. I none of that matters. If I'm coming to show up, I worked for a correspondent lender when I was in the mortgage business. Young company, fresh company. They went and got a building in downtown San Francisco, 2 floors. It was like the boiler room. I went in there as an underwriter. I was closing loans. I would go catch the bus. We get off of work. I would catch the bus back, get in my car, change my clothes, and be up there. We get they order. This is before Uber. They getting steak dinners delivered, all the stuff. They like D, what you need? We got that. It was not about liking because I didn't like nobody. I didn't know people's names. Get out of here. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. And you know why? Nobody said nothing to me because I got things done. Here, take this back.
Right. It's a
Here
generational
goes
thing.
a bonus.
I mean,
Thank
Right.
you.
it,
Generational.
You'll see me tomorrow for some more money. And people were amazed how I used to talk to the CEO. This is counteractive. You having a kegger on the roof is going to get you in trouble because you're a Chad. It's going to get you in trouble. Bring dial down the romance and let's get this work done because
No,
this is
come
how
on,
I
D.
make my money.
Don't be doing that because I like when people slip up. Don't be hurting my romance on the office time, D. Don't be doing that.
right.
No, they sometimes people just they let leadership do certain things
Oh,
because they
facts.
are the leaders, but
Facts.
leaders respect people that be able to tell them no, or that's
Oh,
not a good idea, because they feel like those are the people that have their best interest at heart. Because when you surround yourself with a
oh,
whole bunch of
facts.
yes men,
I
you're going
agree.
to be a broke man
My
or
boss love me
woman.
because I talk to the CISO, right? I do cybersecurity. So I tell him in a minute, I go, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. People laugh at me. I said, that wasn't good. But then I'll fall back. But I work for you, boss. Let me know what you want to do. I just say, that was a bad idea. I risk you negligent. We're going to get sued. But if that's what you want to do, boss, I work for you, man. But no, so I tell him in a heartbeat.
But if you
Now,
want this new Ferrari,
now,
you
now,
Facts.
gonna take
now,
my advice, and they be like, "I'm getting in this Ferrari. Where we going tonight? What we doing tonight? What we do? Hey,
now,
what we
Albert,
Facts.
doing?"
you in Silicon Valley. What are you seeing on the front of like respect, skill sets?
Diversity, and inclusion. What are your thoughts?
Diversity and inclusion. Um,
What is it to you?
uh, really, it's just an opportunity. I'm not guaranteed any outcomes. The outcomes come with what's up top, right? What you
Up
have
top
in
in
your
the
head.
brain.
Yeah,
Facts.
and
Facts.
in terms of people, it's weird that people worry about that, because I know in California when I was in college we had affirmative action, right?
Facts.
And I was one of those affirmative action babies.
Facts.
And I remember one of my white peers. I was in a physics class, and I was helping him, and he was arguing against it and whatever. And I guess I was like 18, 19 years old. And I said, if it wasn't for affirmative action, I wouldn't be here helping you.
Facts.
And so saying that, I said, we both came on we took two different paths to get here, but I'm outperforming you. So at that point, it didn't matter, because I'm better at what we're doing than you are. So I never really focused on that. I just say, look, I need an opportunity. What I do with that opportunity is all up to me. So I don't focus on that. And I think if we pontificate and focus on the idealism, that we're missing the boat, because at the end of the day, you could have 50 patents and go to a company and be a diversity hire and never know it.
How are you supposed to know? That
And
was
never
another
know it.
question. Like, how do you
You could
how do you
have the
know?
best. You could be Linus Torvalds himself, be the black Linus Torvalds, and go to a company and be a diversity hire. And you don't know it. You thinking, well, I invented this new operating system, blah blah blah. And somebody is in HR said, hey, we need one more person to get us to our goal, or our goal for the year. And you could be that one person. But then the question is, if you are at that skill level, you won't care. But it's funny that the reverse is not true. If you're not at that skill level, then you start worrying about things that don't matter, like
Facts.
like fairness and all this stuff. It ain't fair. I can tell you that from the beginning. The moment you were born, with your skin color, your parents taught you it ain't gonna be fair. So you roll
Facts.
with that. That's no longer a variable, right? And it's like, I just don't get I mean, I see this. We're on Clubhouse talking to some of these young kids, and and they focus on this a lot. And it's weird. It's just do what you can to control it. And the only thing you can control is your ability. That's it. Your ability and your hard work.
Yeah, you can control the ability, the hard work. You can also control how you communicate to people, and you can also control how you communicate outside of work. You can
Hmm.
also look at like what's going on with the, with the actual business side of work. So you understand what the next moves are, where they're going, what they're looking into, getting ahead of that, introducing people who are in the field, that are doing some of that work to the company, and vice versa, so they can be a part of it. There's so much that we can do to not necessarily make it more diverse, but to make sure that we're getting in and getting the same skill sets and so forth. We already talked about the Asian guy who earlier, second time mentioning him, but again, we already talked about it where he said, I'm hiring more Asian people because the Asian men have everything stacked against them. And he was
Facts.
like, when I see people
The
coming
model
from
minority.
when I see people coming from a HBCU, when I see them coming from some Google boot camp or something like that, he was like, I give them a harder time. I don't give them hints. I don't give them. They should know it. They got. In other words, you should. In other words, your skill set should reflect in this interview.
Facts.
And so, if your skill, and that's the thing, is it stacked against us? Absolutely. But we got things that we got to do for ourselves. And that's why I'm really, really hard on you knowing the fundamentals. Understand Linux, understand networking, understand DNS, understand what a STIG is, understand what
Woo.
how to do a kernel, what how to manipulate a kernel. You need to understand these things. If we don't understand that stuff, I'm telling you, these are foundational skills. They're gonna go with you out throughout the rest of your career. Understand system design, understand how to architect something, how to look at the big picture. These things are going to be with you for the rest of your career, and if you can't get that down, you're going to be in for a rude awakening for the rest of your career. You're going to always have somebody handing you something to do versus you choosing what you want to do.
That goes into I'm taking a course on managing high performance teams. And two of the top things they talk about as a leader in this team is what these attributes you're supposed to have. And it talks about self awareness and self reliance. And I have the definition of self reliance up, and it's reliance on one's own powers and resources rather than those of others. Then that goes back to, like you said, Professor Black Ops, is them not having the skill sets. And for me, it's also not having confidence in yourself, because you can learn skills on the job. But if you don't go in there with confidence, you don't know how to walk the walk, you don't know how to talk the talk, then you're going to get ushered up out the door. And then you're going to be worried about others validating you because you've put yourself in a place of mediocrity.
Facts. Facts.
I don't I'm on my own agenda. My own agenda happens to have things that fit your agenda. And this stuff, and like Tam says, these goals get us paid at the end of the day. Because if I don't perform and the stuff doesn't get done, then I'm not going to get paid. There's things I like to do. I have a life outside of this. I work, you don't know what I work on. You don't know me personally. You don't know my goals, my dreams, my hopes, my aspirations. You are getting a snippet of my life here.
What and but they can know if they, if you share that information and if you
Nice.
ask, right? So that's the other part too, right? What you do outside of work can also lend a helping hand at work, right?
Mhm.
Especially when it's a growing company. Say that outside of work, you contribute time to high schoolers on a robotics team, and maybe the company wants to help you increase that visibility for that particular robotics team, or help you increase the skill sets of those kids or young adults or what have you. That can be something shown as leadership, because you've taken the initiative to help others and so forth. So you could take that and bring that back into the company. They're like, oh, this person actually has these leadership skills, and we're looking for someone to be a program manager over here on this particular project. You have the experience outside. I've seen you do that because I've been to some of your events. Oh, we need you here. So it can play to your benefit, but you have to know again how to deliver the end goal, the end results. And that's really what it comes down to. I've been on plenty of projects, and people are like, "Oh, I didn't know you did that outside of work." And then you show them what you're doing and what you did. Oh, is it possible that we could fly you to AWS reInvent and you can present this topic for X, Y, and Z? You be like, well, shit, yeah, sure, I'll do that, no problem. Go ahead, Afri. What's going on?
Hi, good evening. Is my audio okay?
Yep, your
Yes, it's
audio's
great.
good.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. You know, I think it is very important that we saw this. I think it's a learning experience for the ones that are watching and will soon to be watching this. That this is real. This is how some people are out there. This is reality, and there are many people of this. Well, I won't say many, but there are people that are of this school of thought that I have to be liked in order to be part of a group where okay, that may work maybe in some situations in some companies, but see how far those companies get and progress as a company wise with that type of mentality or leadership. I can guarantee you this individual is not demonstrating good or effective leadership traits with that type of mentality. Because maybe your top star, you really dislike him, but his performance to make the team grow and make the business profitable, which is what a business is supposed to be. Bottom line is profitable. Is performance, right? So
Consistently profitable.
and I also believe, okay, so also the fact that he was arguing you based from a place of where he wants to defend his conviction of how he feels at that moment. Because reality is, I guarantee you, he is at his job. He knows that if he is not competent in the position and the role that he is, where he is at, he will be fired. He will be fired. Him and anybody else that doesn't
Right. And
perform at the level that they're hired to or that they're expected of, you will be replaced.
or you don't get the new work that's coming in. You
Right,
stay on
right.
the old stuff. You
The
don't get the
maintenance.
new stuff. So therefore you don't get more skills because you're doing the same thing over and over again because there's no confidence in what you're doing. Right?
My
So
Also,
that's the other part. Go ahead.
I think that also another one, instead of like this whole like thing, I think of like and I think of Facebook, where I hit the button, the like thing. And reality is, I don't like the people that I work with. I tolerate them. That's more the mentality that I have. I tolerate, right? Because
right,
what's the number one reason why people leave jobs? It's because of people quit because of other people, right? They
Right.
right.
they tolerated enough, right? They said, "That's it. I'm not gonna tolerate anymore this a hole." I come to
Right.
work every day because I can tolerate you people just enough till the end of the day and come back and do it again.
Just
So I
picking
Yeah.
your
think
poison.
tolerance. I
Yeah.
think tolerance is a better, I think, term, or at least in my mind, that's
In
how I
your
look at
mind,
it.
yeah.
I tolerate people, right?
Facts.
Right.
My only pushback on that, and I agree 100%, is I work in the government, so I promise you, 20% of the people on the team, like Tim said, they doing maintenance. They're like because they suck. They're cool with somebody, but they don't really have skills, so they have to be like. We call it the jobs program. So I've seen people live on because they're like, but they don't really have skills. They're not getting any better. So I've seen people live on that. I don't want to live on that because I want to live on my skills, right?
Right.
Because it's a bell curve. I think the bottom 20% are like because they're average and they suck. Now, if you're at Silicon Valley, they cut the bottom 10 off every year, but people are struggling for programmers. So we got very marginal programmers they like, so they keep them on staff.
Right.
But you're not gonna get promoted for that. You're not gonna try to get to that leadership position you want. And that's really what you're gonna get. That's based on your skills, not that you're like. Now, when you get up to a certain level, VP, now granted, your skills are gonna be equal. So now you might start getting, are you a cultural fit? But that's when you get to the top. Y'all still grinding. All them dudes was 20. You just getting in the game good, man. You shouldn't even want to stay at that company because you need to be moving to the next company when you get to skills so you get a 20% pay raise.
Yeah. And there was another guy. He was in the chat on that same video, and he said that he went to some school, right? I guess a trade school, and got all these certifications, and he didn't have any experience. But he said when he interviewed, the person liked him, and he beat out other people for that position. And I was like, it wasn't the fact that the person liked you. It was more the fact the person respected your hustle, and you were malleable, meaning I could take you and turn you into what I need versus the person who's been around all this time. I can't mold them and shape them how I want to. I was
I'm an
like,
old dog and I'm mouthy, so you can't mouthy me. My fault, Tim. Yeah, I'm old. You can't mound me no more. I'm a brick. You can't mold me anymore.
right. So I was like I said that was what you experienced. I said now that you have experience, now you could take that experience and run and do, use those certifications to expand your job, to expand your career trajectory. But it with even though you had that doesn't make you It doesn't make you a diversity hire. It doesn't make you less competent. It just means you know how to hustle.
Until he could have been the cheapest guy. Sometimes you want the youngest guy because he's the cheapest guy.
He might have been the cheapest guy.
Because I'm fat, you got to pay me. I'm old, you got to pay me, homie. I get paid, so you can't get me. So he could have been the cheapest guy. And let's be honest. And our Tam got me thinking a lot. A lot of black people have imposter syndrome, so they scared to ask for the money they deserve.
Just
But
happy to have a job.
yeah, and I also
Facts,
think part of that is they don't know what money they do deserve.
facts,
I think we, we go look on Glassdoor. I'm not a fan. I think it's off by about $30,000 or $40,000, give or take.
facts,
But when it comes down to what you deserve and what you have put in for, one of the things that was recently brought up was the guy asked the people that he interviewed with what they was getting paid. He asked them. He's like, "What
oh,
are y'all
facts,
getting paid? Here's what they're offering. What are you getting paid?" And they came back and said, "Well, you should ask for more of this to keep in line with X, Y, and Z." And that came out, I think, in the Business Insider or the New York Times, about that particular person. But again, don't be afraid to ask what you're worth, or what they're offering. Like, ask the question, so you know how to maneuver, and so you know how to move. We gotta, I know we get uh in that mindset. I just need to get this job and then I'll worry about it later. All right,
facts.
so here's what I was this is what I was told. For every $10,000 you lose, it takes you 5 years to gain that $10,000 back.
Facts.
So if you can stand and lose 30 or $40,000 and not go out and get any more skill sets, so you can get that $30 or $40,000 back, because you're gonna have to have some kind of skill set to get that back. Be prepared, right? I don't think we all can lose $30 or $40,000. That's a lot of money to be losing.
But you know,
It's
it's
just what it is.
irrelevant.
I think that then the question is then, or the concept is then, instead of the word or the concept of deserve, more than should be focused towards earn, because I don't think people deserve anything. It's like, what have you earned, or what can you demonstrate? What kind of value do you have in the marketplace, right? That you have earned, where you are valued at X amount of money,
That's fine. We can
right?
say we
Because
can say earn, but to me it all goes back to how much how much effort you're willing to put into oneself to increase one's gains.
Facts, facts,
Right?
And we
If
keep talking about performance. Like, don't my first gig in tech was at an app startup. Don't have a performance based job where you got KPIs and metrics that you got to hit on a weekly, monthly basis, and those are not met. Then you really know stress, because it needs to be quantified. And if it's below, they're going to keep penalizing you, and they're going to politely usher you out the door. And but Professor Black Ops, you said some earlier in regards to it's a generational thing. At this particular tech company, um, we had got a new team lead. And the team lead, she was young. She just turned 30. She was turning 30. And she was a black girl, and I was happy for her, and we would have these conversations. And most of our one-on-one sessions would be me mentoring her, because
facts.
she was telling me about her process in getting hired, how literally she had to do about 10 interviews. And every time if there was a business change, and by the way our meeting flowed, I can tell that there was a decision up top, and because how everything moved, because we had to pivot on a dime, because it's a startup. And so when you don't make those pivots, you get penalized. And I can tell, and I get, every time something hit the fan, I knew when we were about to get acquired. And I said, uh-oh, is about to be some BS, because I was working on all these different teams. My metrics, they start getting real tight, real picky. I'm like, uh-oh, they trying to cherry pick people off. I'm not being considered that I am cross functional anymore because they are trying to make decisions based on the numbers. They don't care that I'm staying late because that's my money. I'm gonna stay late. I'm gonna come in early. I'm gonna go cross function on this team and do this little stuff. It didn't matter. I ended up getting let go. They had her let go a whole bunch of people. That next week, after she did all those interviews, it hadn't even been 6 months. She was let go.
And those young boys don't realize that. I've been in this game a long time ago. I'm trying to word this right. I'm a rat. I'm a consultant. So I like you. I can see it. D. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to switch jobs. Because I know this is about to end and I'm be the first one. So I'm like, I'm going and usually I'm the last one. Oh, you should stay high tire. We're gonna keep you in my mind. I'm thinking, oh no, you ain't tricking brother. I'm up out of here. So you can see that.
She would be so stressed out. And
Of course.
I was like, hey, and it was one of those conversations like sisters and sister, you know what? I know what's going on these other teams, and trust me, you are shining. You are up against some mediocrity. I said, but you know what? It's a mindset. I said, you got to change that and brush that stuff off. Because every time I see you or if I hear you in the space, you show up and show out. And when it comes to self-awareness and reading a room, and I'm not mad for her for being, trying to be a team lead, but when you know what you want and what you want to do, can't nobody talk you into anything. She was just so happy. She's like, I want to see you be a supervisor, and in order to do that, she wanted to give me like, because we're a global company, she wanted me to work like a graveyard shift.
Oh
No,
Lord.
thank you. I said, no, thank you. I said, I'm not interested. She said, well, sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do. Wouldn't you like to move to San Francisco and work from the corporate office? I said, number one, I said, this one night I'm to one in the morning. I said, I'm fine. I said, but after 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I'm no good. I know that about myself and I'm okay with that. Number two, I'm born and raised in San Francisco. I don't care. I moved away from there. We're great. That's not my goal. But I appreciate you having that confidence in me to do something else. Now, this is the department that I want to go to. How do I get over there? Help me get over there if you want to do something. Those are the conversations you should be able to have with your people that are in leadership.
Well,
And be
not even that. You should be able to have those conversations with the team, with the people that are on those teams, right? Again, being cross functional doesn't have to go through your leadership. You can actually sit down and talk to other team members. That's what you're there for, right? You're there to have camaraderie with the other members of the company. You should be able to talk to other members of the company and like, how do you like working with this team? How do you like the management style? How do you like what the product or the actual sprints or whatever it is that you're doing over here? You have that ability to talk to other team members and then be like, okay, I see there's a position open. I'm going to let people know that I'm interested in that position and then go from there. You don't have to wait for leadership to to big you up to make that move,
oh, I
right?
understand that because that's
No,
what I
not
did.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
get
saying,
it. I get it. But
no,
I
not
don't wait
you.
on
I'm just saying
nobody.
in general.
Yeah.
Not you. I'm just saying in general for people that are in the space, like, or not even in the space, just in a job in general, being able to maneuver around the company. One day
Right.
you may be,
But then you go back to the video, they're in, and even Professor Black Ops said, like sometimes managers be mad.
Yeah, you got
That's not my
like
fault.
right. You
yeah.
just got to read the room and figure out if it's gonna hurt you or not. Or like you said, you don't care. I just been lucky where I always been cross functional, so it's easier for me to move in a team. Then I just
And for
became the
me,
fix it guy, so they told me to go help other teams.
yeah, and then for me, it has always been, hey, I am okay with me and my skill set to say, hey, I'm gonna go over here and talk to this manager about X, Y, and Z, or I'm just gonna do it, and then be like, hey, I talked to such and such the other day, and this is what we discussed, right? But I also come from the vision of ask for forgiveness later. That's what I have seen. That
That's
is
what
the
I learned.
culture. That
That's
is
what
the
I've
culture
learned.
that I have been in. The
Facts.
culture that I have been in is we ask for forgiveness. We do it and we ask for forgiveness later.
And I've
In
learned
fact,
that from all of that has been
most of
male
my
leadership.
managers are like that.
Yeah,
Most of
and
my
it's
managers
always
have
been
been
male leadership. Female leadership,
Facts.
I never had that attitude. I've heard that nothing but
No
male
facts.
leadership. Like I'm doing
Facts.
it, and I apologize later if they
Yeah.
decide they're gonna apologize.
It's weird because
right.
all my managers been female. So, but now, like you said, that's mostly a male trait.
All right. And then if you like what you're hearing, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notification bell buttons.
Facts. Facts.
Also, we want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We are discussing a video that I guess a show I was on, and just a snippet of that video about it, and as well as um, are you a diversity hire? And if you are a diversity hire, do you care?
Or how
Do
did
you?
you know? How
Yeah,
did you find
and how
out?
did you know?
Who told you?
My boss
Right,
told me, but I didn't care. So,
right. And you know what? You can, and I have done this. I have asked managers, why did you hire me? Literally, I've asked
facts.
them, why did you hire me? And one of my jobs at SAIC, and you can go back to, I think, episode 8. You can go look and see where I said to, well, I had asked my manager, why did you hire me? And his answer was this: I hired you because you were able to answer all the questions, and we had nobody else that was able to answer all those questions.
Facts.
You
Facts.
understood, you understood the assignment, basically. You did what you had to do. Your math was mathing. That was
Facts.
it.
I did
Right?
what you said. I don't care. When you hire me, I just come to get my check and get some skills. I ain't planning on staying long. So to be honest, I never asked that question, Tim T. Brother. I pass interview, you hire me, we agreed on salary. I'm gonna get a couple skills and I'm out. I
Right.
don't overthink it.
But
I'm
I
not
mean,
so
but you can literally ask that question,
oh
right?
facts. I think I
It-
am next
it-
time. I just never thought about it.
yeah, just ask. Well, why did you hire me? What is it that you saw? What is it? What need did you see I could fulfill for you? So okay, well, all right, I did that well. It's just maybe a confidence booster, but it's also just to let you know, like, okay, what you have been doing works. You found a formula that works. Stick to your formula. Stick to the plan, and you won't know that until you ask. So you gotta ask.
Most people
And
don't
if
have
you
a
all want to
plan,
come up,
Tam.
D can drop the link for all those that want to come up. I
D
think everybody's
scaring
still
them.
backstage. Did you? Are they backstage?
D scaring
Mm-mm.
them. D scaring them. That's why they're not coming up, man. I almost didn't come up. She was scaring me. But Tim, I don't think most people have a plan. I think if you ask those young guys, they think they were gonna magically get promoted to CISO or CIO. They don't have a plan, Tim. I bet you. If you ask them, what's your long range goal? What's your skills? Where you plan to be in the next 3, 5, 10 years? They wouldn't have been able to tell you.
No,
but I
but
think
I
that
think
gets
a
it.
lot of Oh, go ahead, Tim.
But I think that gets into another conversation, right? Like, what is your plan when you do get the job working in tech? What is, and I always ask everyone this: what's your end goal? Like, what's your plan? What's your plan for 3 year, 5 year, 10 year? What's your end goal? And it's going to change over time. Let's not get that
Oh,
twisted.
facts. I'm old. I'm just trying to get to 63 and be done. So it's different when I was 20. I was trying to be the supervisor, the new CIO, but the real world kind of hurt my feelings. So I'm like, I'm gonna be a killer consultant and make a whole bunch of money and just do what I do.
Did you check out Top Town when we interviewed them?
I don't think so, man. Y'all be interviewing so many people. Tam, it's hard for me to keep up. I didn't see the picture to do it. Yeah, interview like what, like 10 people in the last month? I be like, they, they be
We
hard to
try.
keep
I'm
up.
trying to get. I'm trying to get information out so you know how to maneuver. I didn't have this information
No, facts.
when
They
I was
good. That's
coming up.
especially that other lady. I loved her, man. I like,
Who,
we got to
Ava
invite her to
Rich?
the picnic. Yeah, I like, she coming to the picnic, man. I'm feeling her, man. She was talking more crazy than me. I was like, oh, shout out to her. She coming to the
Reckless,
picnic.
just reckless. But
Yeah,
you
I'm
Yeah.
like,
know, what I was gonna say is that a lot of the careers in tech are sensationalized, and so I agree they don't have a plan because the plan is what they see. I'm going to get in here and I'm going to have free snacks and we're going to be innovative and we're bringing all this next new wave stuff. And when they get in there and they got to work and they just work all day and they work all night and they just busting out code because somebody told them they need to be a programmer and they in there and they burnt out,
I
stressed
was that.
out,
I
and
was
they
that.
tired of those snacks. Like
Facts. I was
it,
yeah. I
it,
was
it, it they don't have no plan. They just trying to get in the door. And
in a
so they're going based off the things that they see. Again, this is a like society.
and
It's an
I pro
influence society. Go ahead.
yeah. And I've been to places, and I don't know if y'all have, where I knew I was better than everybody, but they got promoted above me. I was like, this dude can't touch me whatsoever, but he got promoted above me. Because some of the stuff, like they say, they were pattern matching, and the boss liked that dude. No matter what I did, it didn't matter. So I was
And
like,
they
this is
get
not
their
the place
people in
for
the
me. I
door.
got skills. I need to go somewhere else.
Right. And they put their people through the door. When you looking
Oh,
at those
facts.
applications and all the criteria you had to do to get in the door and other people didn't check half of the boxes and they moving up and you're like, well, we're interviewing so and so. Well, where's so and so's resume? Oh, don't worry about it.
Oh,
Oh,
facts.
don't worry about it. People just start showing up and they start looking more and more alike. And you're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay.
And the crazy thing now is I'm old and grumpy and pessimist. I expect it. So I don't even bother me no more. I know what I'm here for. I know my role. I know what pay I want. So I'm good. I'm not a lot of millennials, shout out to them. They want to fight the world, fight the pattern. Nah, dude, I'm riding with it, man, because I understand how this works. And I don't have any more cycles to argue. So if you don't like my skills, I can just go do something else, homie. I work on my craft good, so I can go make money. So I'm not trying to climb the world or have people liking me or thinking I'm gonna climb over 20 people. No, that was 20 years ago. That's not me anymore.
But you know what? Being diverse as we are, that is your prerogative. We
Nice,
understand your perspective. You have the
nice,
right to be, do, and have
nice.
whatever that you want. Speaking of that, Mary said someone on Twitter posted few days ago, they wanted to go back to the office for the free food.
Facts.
Let me tell you, you got to be able to see one of those refrigerators in the kitchen in order to really appreciate
But
the free
it's
food.
funny that you say that, right? Because at my company, they give us a stipend. I think we get a $25 stipend every day for our food.
Yeah,
So
because
if
they
I
used to provide it
yeah,
for the.
so if I go
Well,
if I go on Uber Eats and order my food for lunch, I just I just get my money back. I
that's
can do
cool.
that every single day.
Mhm.
So I mean, there's if you want free food, you just gotta get with the right
And
company.
you
Oh,
gotta
facts,
ask
facts, facts.
because if you get hired and you in the office and that's one of the perks for you accepting the job for and say you negotiated on salary a little bit and you like, well, at least I get free food. I get breakfast, lunch here, and I get me
Mhm.
a couple of cocktails in the afternoon. You
Facts.
know, a
The
lot of young
cocktails.
people they go for those jobs. Like the Googles and the Facebooks, they
Yeah,
don't pay a whole lot of money, but
they
they're
don't.
going no.
I thought they.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
No,
It depends on what level you are, but they
facts.
supplement a lot of that culture fit with the stuff.
The only reason I paused is I was in Silicon Valley. They were like talking about $4,000 for a 1 bedroom apartment. I'm like, y'all crazy as hell, man. I ain't coming to Silicon Valley. Y'all crazy, man. I'm going back to Indiana, man. I'm in the Midwest. Making
Right.
that much
And
money.
I just hit up before the billion, so I don't know. He was on the show at the end of the show.
Oh, yeah,
So
you should have told me. I could have hit up before the billions. Because the Jedi Mike I met on before the billions, but that one dude, I ain't never seen him. The dude was talking crazy. I ain't never
Bear,
seen him.
you seen Bear, you seen Jonathan before? He been on before the billion show.
I don't remember him, I guess.
Yeah, he been on the
Yeah,
show.
because me before the billions, I thought I pissed him off because he was sounding like him. I was like, BDB, you got to get out your feelings, young man. You're a resource. But he took it well. I just started jumping out. I'm like, it didn't mean like that. But I'm like, dude, you're a resource. I promise you. You get profits, you might get a bonus. But if the company drop, your ass gonna be the first fire, man. Don't. It's not a personality contest. Man. Like I said, I didn't see 60 dudes walked out on a Friday and they got fired on that Friday. And we were taking their accounts out. So the company don't care about you, man. As soon as you
I
get,
mean, we
you're
just saw
not
the
liked.
900. You just saw the 900 people get fired at that one company,
Oh,
right?
that is true. On the Zoom call,
On the
was
Zoom
yeah.
call.
Like,
And he
damn.
talking about, I think I was insensitive. You
No,
think?
no. Shout
Do
out
you
to
think?
him. No, he was not insensitive. That's
Yeah,
how you should do it. Ain't no love. You a resource. Don't get confused, people. That dude let you know you a resource. It wasn't insensitive. You a resource. Get out your
I mean,
feelings.
I mean, again, you've seen the comments that
Yeah.
he has made before.
Yeah.
Again, it's not it's not about the whether I like you or not. It's about
Yeah.
what that
What my
ROI comes
business
down to
is,
be.
my bottom. Look at all those people that lost their lives in these tornadoes that weren't let off of work so that they can go shelter with their families. That was so sad because of the bottom line. Like, oh, it's not going to be anything. You guys can work through it. And those were moments that they lost.
Facts, man.
Yep.
I'll be
And the
suing
other
the company.
yeah, the other part of this that I want people to take away from it is you don't have to follow everything that we're doing. Right?
Oh, facts.
I'm just but what I'm giving you is when it comes down to your skill sets, that goes along with earning not necessarily a like, but your respect, which could turn to like. That's my want to make sure I clear that.
Facts.
I want you to know what you know. And is that enough sometimes? Sometimes it's not.
It's not.
Sometimes you just gonna walk into a brick wall where they already have in mind who they want to hire.
Facts. I've seen it every
it
all day.
And it don't
All
have
day.
nothing to do with
don't have
what you
nothing to
got
do
going
with you.
on.
You
No.
know what? You know that's funny that we say that, right? I was looking at Judge Faith this afternoon, and one of the she was on the Breakfast Club, and one of the things she said, she's like she had never been rejected before, and she said she had went up to this her and this guy, they were good friends, and she wanted to go to, I think it was like casino night at the school in college. And so she was like, you know, she was like, they was in college. She was like, so she went over to him. She said they were friends. She was like, hey, would you like to go to casino night with me? And he told her no. And she said she had never been rejected. And she's like, I thought we were friends. I thought all the signals and everything was right. And she's like, she internalized that because she had never been rejected. And she said, fast forward probably about 5 years or so had went by. And they was at an event and she happened to see the guy. And he was like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? They end up getting pulled aside and they end up talking to each other, and he's like, you remember casino night when you had asked me to go, you know, with you to the event? And she was like, I had forgot about it, but she was like, yeah, I remember that. He's like, the reason why I told you no is because I didn't own a suit. And that was he was like, and that was I didn't want to be embarrassed because I didn't own a suit. And so, sometimes, and I'm saying that to say sometimes the rejection that you get may not be about you.
Oh, facts. Facts.
It may not be about you. And don't take that personal. We do
Oh,
though. We because you put if you like me, you put your all into it. You study up. You do X, Y, and Z. I get it. You get rejected, but don't take it personal where it knock you off your square where you can't
facts.
concentrate on the next opportunity that might even be 2 or 3 times better than the last one.
I just
And
had
we're
an
gonna put this
interview.
in a short and play it back to yourself.
That's fine.
uh, for me, I just had an interview. It went super well, and I didn't get the job. I was like, they just didn't like me or something about me. I didn't feel bad or nothing, man. I'm like, I get paid decent money now, so it wasn't like I needed it. I was hurt, so I didn't take it personal. I was like, I could do his job. He just probably didn't just hating on me. So I never feel bad. In my old days, I just be tricking myself. I like it wasn't me. I'm too good, so I don't even worry about that anymore. I don't even. I don't even worry about. I got a set of skills, and I just roll with them. When
Right.
I was younger, that might bother me. The 20-year-old ops would have been bothered. He wouldn't be able to sleep for a couple nights and try to ask for an informational interview to figure out what's now. I'm like, see, oh, that's cool. That just wasn't for me. Next,
Right. And
But
the
it
other
comes with age. It's
all
a
facts,
maturity thing, you know. And
facts.
when we are searching for jobs and when we're young and getting into our prospective fields, this
Oh
is
yeah,
what they tell us to do. This is our training. If you don't hear
facts.
back, you know,
Yeah.
ask them what was the blockers and all these other things and
No.
send a thank you and follow up and do all these things. And you're just like, you're just doing what you was taught to do.
Facts. But like Tail be saying, like I be telling people a lot of times is, dude, I don't have imposter syndrome. I work on my craft, so I'm fine. Just something about me, like maybe I wasn't a cultural fit. I don't know. I don't give a shit. I just I need to find my next job. You know, I don't.
Or they hired their friend and just going through the
Oh,
motions
facts, facts.
of the
And I
interview.
seen that a ton a lot, especially on big project. I worked on a team with say 500 programmers, so you see a lot of that. I did, and two is they worked in the military, so they owe people favors, so they would bring kids on and make
all the
you train
time.
them. And it used to bother me when I was, they making me train them to take my job. Now I'm like, who you want me to train? I don't care, you know. So, but like you said, that just comes with age, and I'm just at a
Yeah,
point in
or
my
you got to
life.
put
It's
that
just like,
in. You have to put that into you being hired, right?
oh, facts, facts, and two
Right. You
now,
already you already know that
yeah,
something's gonna happen. So
oh yeah.
you gotta put the cost of BS into your pay into
Oh
your
yeah,
pay.
yeah. I'm just to a point in my life too, whereas I'm comfortable where at. I'm not trying to be vice president of this. I'm just a SME consultant, and I get paid for the level of skill I have. So I expect to come in and train people. I expect to help people, and I think that's why a lot of young guys too. I just tell them, "You the boss, man. I'm gonna help you be a good boss." Because I'm gonna train you to be a best boss. So I'm not in competition with you anymore. Because I ain't gonna be
Hmm.
here long, homie. I get paid X. I expect to be 3 years. I'm gonna go do something else, man. I'm a consultant. So now I'm like, so dude, I'm not in competition. What can I do to help you? So that takes a lot of that. This, we at war, or we this and that, or we trying to climb the same like, nah, dude, I'm gonna be gone in another 3 years. I'm getting my skill. I'm gonna do something else. So for me, that just
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier for
Yeah.
me. So I don't
Brian called that a multiplier when you want to go in and
facts.
make
That's
people
me.
better. And I thought that was the
That-
greatest thing. Like you got to
That's
be
what
a
I am.
multiplier. That's all I
Hmm.
want to do. That's why we're here to multiply.
And
Yeah,
see,
I
I
rather, and that's the other
yeah.
thing too that people, and that goes back to Brian's conversation, is sometimes it's better to prop other people up than yourself because you find more value propping someone else up. And I'm not saying go prop up someone who's just blatantly disrespectful. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes it's better to prop up some other people, because the reward comes back tenfold, right?
Always. Always.
Yeah,
And two is let's you the CEO or CIO. Like you said, that's how you get known. And as you known as a problem solver, people give you work, and then people, like you said, when they go somewhere, they invite you to come.
mm,
So
right. And not only do and again, not only do they invite you to come, they actually invite your opinion, right?
oh,
Because there's
100% of
a
my yeah.
level of respect of your
Oh yeah,
opinion and
yeah.
your thoughts on that, right? So what do you think about blah 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 blah
Oh,
blah, right?
I got CIOs calling me right now, asking me questions. Because, like you said, they value, and I helped them in the past, so they like,
Mm-hmm.
"What's your opinion on this?" Or like one lady called me talking about she was the CIO for the city of Colorado, and what was the security level of the ambulance company that was a third party. So we started talking about HIPAA laws. Because the crazy
Mm-hmm.
thing is she didn't respect her security guy down there. So she called me. She said, "My security guy's saying this." I go, "Your security guy's wrong." So I said, "This is the BAA business associate agreement. This is how Amazon does. Y'all lease that out, but they're under the same HIPAA requirement because you're responsible." So I chopped it all up and sent it to her, and she gave it to the security guy. She called me. She goes, "He was wrong." I go, "That's why you called me." So,
I hope
like
you
you
got
said,
paid for that too.
no, 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 no. Because the reason I didn't get paid was when she invited me to work for her. You know how it goes. It's prime and like three subs. She
Mm-hmm.
gave me at the prime, so nobody cut into my money when she
I
hired me.
got
She
you.
said, it's the prime, and she was cool. I'm gonna throw it out. She said, I got you at not accreditation money, but she said I got you at $73 an hour. I go, we good, ma'am. Thank you. She said,
Mm,
she said, we good. She said, I got you at the top. That's our motorcycle can get you. No subs are cutting into money. That's the top. I go, we good. So no. So
I
I
got
with that, she call me anytime she want. Any kind of question, call me anytime you want. I got you. I got you. So
you. Yep.
Yeah.
And
And you know what, Pete? I want people, and again, this is a mind shift. If you are consulting, you doing freelance work, and you have your own company along with your W-2, or you just out here long range freelancing, you are the CEO. You the CEO, the CIO, the CTO. You should be able to have executive level conversations with anybody because
Oh, facts.
you run your show. You run the
Facts.
business of you. And
Facts.
so as the executive uh visionary over your life, over
Facts.
your finances, you should be able to have these conversations about what you want to do,
Mhm.
who you are, what you offer, how you offer it, and when you want to offer that.
Facts, 100%. But I think most people are not at the maturity level yet. I mean, that's you at the top of your game too.
I
When you
think they
can
come
sit
with
down.
confidence. I think they come
Oh,
with,
facts, facts. But that comes a lot
reassurance.
of times with age. But go ahead, Tam.
Yeah, I think they come with confidence.
Facts,
I, but it also comes with bumps and bruises. So those bumps and bruises, you start
facts,
to learn like, oh, I learned from that bump, I learned from that bruise, and I'm gonna take it to the next level with myself, um, and on top of that, I'm gonna make sure that I showcase my talent when I get there. Because if you don't showcase your talent, nobody else is gonna showcase your talent for you. Now you have some people that'll big you up
facts,
if they see you, right? But you also got to remember you got to be your own champion out there,
facts,
and
facts,
and you need to surround yourself with people that'll cheer you on when you don't, right?
facts,
You
facts.
gotta surround yourself with people that are cheering you on. So that's why I always say, like, give your talks, give journal
Facts.
what you do every day, be get out there and showcase your talent so you can be seen. And some people don't want to be seen, but you don't have to be seen on screen. You could be seen by helping other team members out. There's different ways to shine.
Mhm.
You just got to figure out what your niche is.
Yeah, but you need to
Hmm.
do all of that because when you seen, especially at a company level, that's how people edify you and you become the SME when people see you out in public. So when a big meeting is, you got to take a deep breath in. When it's your turn, you got to show them how smart you are. You got to show them you shine. And my favorite word, I'm about this security life, so I'm gonna show you how good I am because that's how you get paid. And
Yeah, I
then when
think
people see you out there like that, because then people assume you're a SME.
Yeah, I think one of the things me and what Brian and I were talking about is when people challenge you at at the
Ooh,
conferences and stuff
I
like
love
that.
that. I love that. Go ahead.
And like we said, we seek to destroy.
Facts. I be clowning, boy. My boss already know. She white. She be looking at me. She just starts shaking her head because she know I'm about to let that little boy know he gonna try my security skills. I'm like, young man, you negligent. You about to get everybody school. Obviously on pub 1075 for encryption at rest. You didn't know I had to be FIPS 140-2. I'm gonna show you how good I am. And I'm gonna make you look stupid. So yeah, I'm the one for that. I come in the room stretching because people used to try me. I come in the door stretching. All right, somebody gonna act stupid, so I'm gonna have to show them.
But
Oh,
that's the other part of tech that's
oh,
funny to
facts.
me too
Yeah.
are you gonna be challenged?
Oh yeah. Especially when you black. I'm throwing out there. When you black and you new, they gonna act. They gonna try you, and I'm waiting because I'm gonna show you how good I am, young man.
But that
I
brings
am
up
not the
another
one.
question though. That brings
What?
up another question.
What's
And
the
I don't think
question?
I've never had any other women ask me this. Does it matter to what you wear and what your hair is? Like, have you seen
Oh.
from your perspective as a male in
Mm-mm.
working in tech, have you seen women get discriminated against because of their hair?
Oh yeah, and they dress. Oh yeah, true story. I shouldn't say that. It was this one fire DBA. She wore these little bitty ass skirts. So me and my colleague, I used to take my female colleague. She used to be like, "Why we going to see what she got?" I'm like, "That dress is little as hell." So no, yeah, it matters. But the crazy thing, it's opposite for dudes. What I mean by that is, I'm so old, my shoes be ran over. I got on black. I don't
I
care.
know you ain't coming to school. You ain't coming to school.
Oh,
You ain't coming to work with your shoes doing this, right? You
boy,
ain't you ain't
I be
doing
coming in that
this.
mug looking. One of you like this one girl. She was cool. She goes, "Hi, Ty, I can make you. You make a lot of money because you damn near look homeless." I be coming in disheveled, jacket all on the head, shirt all twisted. I had my shirt on inside out one day because I was trying to get to work late.
But that's tech. That is
Right.
tech.
The
That's what we
crazy thing
saying.
is,
It's
it
so
got
many
me
restrooms. You can go from straight bum
Let
that
me.
look like
right.
you
I'm
just
gonna give
crawled
you
out
this
from
one.
under the
I'm gonna
trash
give you
can.
this one.
It got me more popular. It got me
We had
more
a
popular.
we had a guy that used to do business development at the job. This is when I was working in Sarasota, and he would come to work, and his shorts would be about to fall off. Like literally,
Facts.
like he would like one day he was walking down the hallway and the shorts fell off and he had to pick them up.
Facts.
Terrible.
And he had on a t-shirt with a big mustard stain right here.
Facts, man. Facts.
And then he had a big stain right here on the
Facts. Facts.
side, and the shirt
Facts.
was inside out. It had got
Facts.
so bad that the owner of the company was like, "Can you just put on a clean T-shirt when you come in?"
Facts, man. Them be the
Was
smartest
how was
dudes
his
though.
hygiene? Was he musty?
No, he was just disheveled and just
Disheveled.
looked,
I
and
love that
and
word.
he drove a old Suzuki sidekick
Facts.
with the,
Facts.
how they had the little plastic on it.
I do. I do. I
All that
do.
stuff was ripped off of it, and
Facts,
it was
man.
a bunch of junk in the back. He was just a
Man.
junky man. But let me tell you, he probably pulled in just from
Facts.
from consulting alone, probably 120 just to consult, and he was retired. And
Oh
he
yeah, I
would
know what
come
you're talking
in.
about.
He would
Facts.
come in. He had the one shoulder. He would come in.
I love them dudes. I work with a couple of those. But that's the crazy part though. And that's why I be trying to tell black dudes, not a Gucci belt on that dude, player. Ain't a Gucci belt on that dude, man. Making all the money, man.
One of our first conferences we went to, it was a black tech conference in New York. We were so excited to go. We was like, "Oh, we going to this is our first little conference. We going." We went up there, and this one influencer had made her money investor. She sat up there and told those children and the rest of the people in the audience that when you show up, you better have your nails done, your
Oh
hair did,
God. Oh God.
red
She was a
bottoms.
VC.
Okay, I
Shit.
can see that in DC.
She was a VC. But the problem is, here's the problem with that. That don't tell me how to get in the room. That don't tell
No.
me that don't tell me how to structure the deal. That doesn't tell me what kind of questions I should be asking.
Facts, facts. But when you the VC, you got the money. You don't need none of that. You got the
Right?
You
money.
and
You
But
what's
you're right. You're
crazy
right. You're
when you
right.
go to black tech events, everybody is so dressed up like
I
they
know.
are going to the church. And the church is come as you are these days. And when we go to just industry tech conference,
Oh,
I mean, you like you said, some people are homeless looking. You be like,
me? I be looking homeless
and
as
you the
hell.
only reason you know that they going to the conference is because they got on a badge.
Fine, that's me. As I get older too, the crazy thing is, what's this? Was 1995. I go to Morehouse. Them dudes was wearing suits to classes with briefcases. I'm like, dude, y'all going to class in suits? I'm like, man, y'all
That
crazy.
that's
I
the
ain't doing
Morehouse way.
Yeah, that's
But
more
facts.
house
but
right. But red hair, blue hair, green
Right.
hair, no
yeah,
hair,
let me tell
combat
you,
boots, dress in jeans. Like,
when I go to the tech conferences, is the nose ring, it's the nose ring with
Oh,
the chain
facts.
to the
it's
ear,
the
it's the
tattoo on the
mohawk,
face.
the
Oh yeah.
tattoo on the face, is green hair, is purple hair. It's a man with a beard and a dress. It's a man in a beard and a skirt.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. So I
I'm
don't want
just,
to.
this is real. Like
I
this,
know
this
I
is
don't get
real.
y'all demonetized. I'm gonna let that go. I'm about to say something, man. I'm gonna
This
leave
is
that one alone.
I'm,
I'm
I'm
old and
just giving
crumpy.
I'm just
No
giving you
facts.
like what be at the conference that we go, where these people are making three, four, 500, 600 million
Facts.
a year. And
Facts.
then we go over to, and I mean, that's our thing. I understand that may be the culture of black people is to be suited
Mm,
and booted to
we
to
gotta
to,
stop
to do
But
that,
they
X,
man.
not
Y, and
talking
Z.
tech though. Now they gonna tell you
Facts.
how to be an influencer, how to do some digital marketing, how to brand yourself. It's all marketing based. It's never a high tech conversation.
And that's what
Look,
pisses
look,
me off.
look at Casey Native. Casey Native said, "A company I used to work for, our director of IT was mistaken for a homeless person by a new employee. He looked a mess, and his car was full of junk. I'm not surprised."
Facts, man. That's me. The older I get, man, I'll be coming in there just, man, I just be barely making it to work. No, nobody mess with me. But that's the thing I think too is, and I especially tell young guys is, I got to get off that fluff, man. We got to get to hardcore technology, man. The
Yep.
suit don't
Yeah.
matter, the title man. Can you design something? Can you architect? And my thing is, I work on big system. You got to be able to do 1 billion records in 3 hours because that's our window to get this done before they start working for the next day in India. So, dude, you got to do hardcore work, man. The suit is cute, your shoes are nice, but we got to do hardcore big system. So,
Let me tell you, some
And
people be so ambiguous, you don't know what they are. We just be waiting for to see what bathroom they go in. Like,
like bet.
like
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna
because you,
let
I
the.
mean, because
Oh, I know.
and I don't want to say people are sensitive. There's so many other um
The talks of diversity, like that's what that
diverse
is.
issues that you are now faced with, especially my age. Like, our age is like, okay, I have to think about those type of things where it's just like where I have to catch myself. And when I go, say, oh, him, and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, is that your pronoun?
No,
Because you
I
have to
ain't.
remember the
I'm
room
call.
that you're in
I'm
I
certain
mean,
calling.
spaces.
I
I'm gonna
didn't know
call him a
what
shim.
I didn't know what my gender was.
What you mean?
We had
You're
because we were filling out an application for a scholarship,
For a
and it
tech
had a
conference.
yeah, and it had 175 genders.
Man, that's why I don't see
I
it.
had
That's
to look it up. I finally realized that I
I'm
was
just
a
done.
cisgender woman who identified as a woman and who was born as a woman.
So you
Like,
just gave
that's
me a
how
headache.
deep it is.
You just gave me a headache saying all that shit. B. I
It
don't
gave
know
me
what you
one too,
say.
and I didn't apply because it was just too much. Because it was too much.
So you got me drinking pop, and I'm supposed to be on a diet. G. That stressed me out. That whole statement
And
right
you know
there.
what? And to bring that conversation, like usually when you go to the tech conference, all the underrepresented groups are like put in one section. And
Facts.
I'm just like, when most people think of transgender, they think of male to female. But I'm just
Always.
like, what about the female to male that they no longer identify as women and don't want nothing to do with us? Like, what are those spaces? There's so many things when it comes to diversity inclusion that you
Yeah.
have to think of in regards to perspectives of just those little nuances.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this one time, and I'm gonna let it go. Is black people fell for that trap because now black people ain't even considered a minority. I don't even know what the hell we are anymore. And I'm gonna leave that alone.
I'm black.
You
Uh, uh,
black, or you transgender black,
No, let me
identified as
tell you.
green, and
No, let me tell you this. So, when I was online dating like years and months
oh,
and
shout out
Sundays
to
ago,
you.
right?
Swipe left.
I never did that one. But when I was online dating, my I found out my great grandfather was Haitian. So just for a social experiment, I said that I was mixed race. And so when somebody would ask me what was I, and I'll tell them I'm like I'm black, and they're like, what else are you mixed with? And I said black. So I'm double black. Like, what's the fascination? Like, I'm double black. What you mixed with?
Facts.
Black and black. Like, if
Facts.
you're Haitian and Black American, you're black. Like, it
Facts.
can't get no blacker than that. Now
Facts.
what? So
These
now you know who you're
exotical.
working with.
She's
she
exotical.
exotica.
She
Yeah, she's
exotical, man.
exotical.
That's
I
what they
am.
say on the manosphere. She's exotical.
She's exotical.
Yeah, she's
She's
exotical, man.
feminine, fit, and
With these
submissive.
red
Oh my
braids.
God, why you going there, Tim? Why we high value man in it? Is it when you
She
when
always got to slip in a
oh
manospherism.
facts,
No,
you
I
know.
didn't. I just said she
And
was
every
feminine,
show
fit,
she
and
mentioned
submissive.
those people over there.
I ain't gonna never forget you told me to leave her alone. I was like, I'm gonna fix Tam a plate. Tam killing it today. I'm gonna fix her a plate. I like, man, I gotta stay off of TLA.
Oh
What's
goodness,
going on before the
that's what she
news?
be coming around the house. You have to be submissive. Like,
You
you
gotta
have
be
to be
submissive.
submissive.
Facts,
Like,
facts, facts.
no.
Right. But here's another train of thought. Do you, and this is for the ladies out there and for the men, do you think working in tech has made you callous or made you masculine, if you want to say? Do you think working in tech has done that?
This made me callous, but I mean, from a good perspective, but
I mean,
um,
have you met some women that you felt like working in tech has skewed their views?
I would say no, but I mean, I gotta really think about that. Because two is, I think a lot of people were that way to begin with. I don't think it got skewed. And two is, I think women get a bad rap because if I'm a manager around forceful, you would be pushy and a B, right? So people put their own labels on things, and I want to make sure I think about it thoroughly and be very intentional because I don't like to put, especially on black women, because y'all get a lot of stuff out here. So I want to make sure I'm intentional in thinking of it. So I would say no, but I mean,
I would say this. I would say if somebody said yes, I could see it, and then I can't see it. And here's why. I could say yes because if you are not, and this is company dependent,
mhm.
you're going to get challenged. And so the question now becomes is if you're defending yourself as that masculine,
No, I don't think it's masculine, but
wh-
some people
wh-
could see
some
could
people could see
see
that
that.
being masculine.
Because they
I
take you being assertive for be aggression.
but to me is when we at work and as a person, especially as a black person, there's a baseline I put on that. If somebody attack me, I'm gonna get them. So I would expect if somebody attack you, you should get them. I'm not gonna put a gender on that, right? For me,
But I agree with
but I
that.
can see how people could
But
flip
that's
that
what
and
I'm
say
saying. I can see how
masculine.
people can come to that conclusion, but I think it's an unfair conclusion
Facts,
because I think the same can be said for a black male in that
facts,
situation.
facts,
It is coming from a state of defense
facts.
and not necessarily a state of gender like you stated, but
Right,
it's also coming from a state of you're barking at me and I
facts,
won't allow you to
facts,
continue
facts.
that because if I let one go,
Facts.
then there are others that are gonna
Oh, they're
follow.
gonna come for you. They're gonna come for you. So I
Right.
always tell people, and when I first come in the job, I'm an asshole because I'm setting tone and precedence.
Hmm.
So when I come to meet, I'm destroying people because I'm gonna let you know I'm not the one. Now after that, true story, the job I work at now, I came in, I was destroying people in meetings. I was embarrassing people. But after I was known for that, after 2 months, I come in the room, nice lady's doing a presentation. I've been killing her. She takes a deep breath and sighs. I walk up to her, I go, who should I ask my security questions to? Because her boss set her up. I was like, I got you. We're cool. Who do I need? She started pointing to her boss. I go, we're good. So I just went on and jumped on her boss because she think the room knows, not her person. I'm gonna destroy you. But now after that, I don't need to beat you up anymore because we got an understanding. Right. So I'm
Hmm.
setting precedents at first.
You'll beat them in a submission
Oh
before
yeah, I'm gonna let you
so
know
they
I'm
won't
not the
find
one.
before they even don't try me because it's over. I
Look,
mean,
I,
I feel
he
like
is the true Pulp Fiction.
yeah, I came into tech callous. I was art and I had to learn how to eat. I because most of the industries that I've come from
yes.
have been male dominated
Facts.
industries,
Facts.
and you cannot you cannot show no weakness,
All
or you
facts.
would be just ran over, especially when you are in an
That's it.
entrepreneurial space. And so there was just certain things that when I show up at the door, I got questions, and I need these questions answered in order for me to do my job effectively. And I learned at that startup is that I would ask questions, and because I would ask questions and I would ask question after question after question, they didn't like that because
Facts.
I also wanted my questions to be supported with documentation,
Facts.
because
Facts.
I'm not going to lie to the people. I'm
Facts.
not going to put myself in this situation with the people. Now, if there's shades of gray, I understand shades of gray. But if you're telling me that there is a policy, please point me to this policy because I'm going to use it when I talk to these people. If you can't point me to the policy, we have a problem.
Right.
So
Facts.
I learned how to, well, through my one-on-ones, I've found that I could say the same thing followed by an emoji, and it was much better.
Facts.
And
But that's a generational thing too.
it is definitely a generational
Definitely a
thing, because I'm
generational
just
thing.
like, y'all over here fluffing these people's nuts, excuse my French, and telling them what they want to hear. And I said, that's not truth. And so when they come back or a situation gets escalated, now you have to de-escalate a situation and give them something else because they over here lying. Oh, tell them this because they're trying to brush you off. I'm not telling this person there if that's not true. I'm going to do what I can do with what's in my realm, what's in this bag of tricks that you gave me that I can pull from.
Facts,
I'm
facts.
pulling from this bag only. I'm not going to deviate from that because at the end of the day, if the shit hit the fan, you're going to come for me. And I want everything that you told me in writing. So
Facts.
when we go and have these meetings and these conversations, I can pull up my receipts
Facts. No,
because
yeah.
you'll get thrown under the bus real quick.
Oh,
Now,
facts, facts.
now, Mary said, "Do you think Black folks lose out when saying diversity, not knowing all of those other options apply instead of being brave enough to say we want this for Black people?" I think, I think we lose out when we don't understand what diversity is, because you could be a diversity hire, and me and D were talking about this earlier, right? So there's many forms, there's many different options when it comes to diversity, right? It could very well be that, say, I go in, D go in, uh, uh and three other Black women go in, right? We're still diverse. We're still diverse because we all have a unique set of skills, right? But it may be that one person that has that one skill that they actually really need, right? So you could still be diverse and still all have the same identify, let's say that, as Black. You can still identify as Black, and you can still be diverse and still have an Asian or Hispanic or whatever else in that mix as well too, and still be diverse. So again, I don't know why when it
They
came
put
down,
diversity on the Black folks.
yeah, I don't know why when it
Like
came
they
down
just
to
oh we
diversity,
own diversity.
we
Right.
own diversity. Like I don't know why we want to claim that, right?
I want to claim it, but keep going. I want to claim it.
You can claim it,
If
but
that's what you want to do.
I don't want to claim it in a negative connotation.
Oh, I agree. I agree. But I go back to the original. Who knows you a diversity hire? So the problem is, I think it's the other way. My boss worked together with her for off and on for 15 years. So we cool. So I actually whispered in her ear. We had a big meeting. We were looking out over about 500 people. I said, "Hey, we need to get some sort of diversity." So she started counting. She said, "What are you talking about?" So she started counting. I go, "Hey, those are Indians. I'm talking about Black people." She goes, "Oh, we don't have any of those." So, like you said, diversity means a ton of things to different
To a
people.
ton of people.
For
It could
me,
be women.
yeah, when I say it, I just think Black people. I ain't gonna lie, but most people don't think that because from an
Yes.
HR perspective, if they want to qualify, they count everybody. They're not
Yes.
distinguishing, right? So I'm like her. I said I want some FBA, foundational Black people born in the United States. That's who I said I want to hire. So she said, "Well, let's have a conversation and let's see how we can do
What
that and make it
that
work."
even that we now we're gonna pull things apart and start making people mad. Because now we can even get into when you say born in the United States, are you talking about Black Americans born in Africans that were born here in the
No,
United States? See,
I'm talking
so
where you.
because you can get into that, and
Oh, facts, facts. So
let
let
me
me
let
be
me state
clear.
why
I'm.
let me
Oh,
state why I
we
say
call
that.
AOBs, American Born Black.
Let,
ABOs. Wait,
It's
Marcus.
it's
let
eight
me
it's
do that.
ADOS or
ABB.
FBA.
FBA.
It's ADOS or
That's too
FBA.
much. I
That's
can't keep up.
the for
Okay,
Foundation
I
Black
don't.
Americans or African descendants of slaves is
Oh,
ADOS.
that's what that thing is.
So
But
yeah, that's all
also,
ADOS.
but you know
ADOS.
what? Also, for me, I also think it is another way to cherry pick candidates. Because if we all go in there and it's a Black woman, an Asian woman,
Oh,
a white
facts,
woman, an Indian woman, a
facts,
Hispanic woman, a Filipino woman, if we go in there and we all have the same merits, the same education,
oh, facts.
the same skills, the same job
That's never gonna
history,
happen.
and all of that type of stuff. Now based on what is diversity, now becomes now it's these other things that they
Facts,
have to pick from. Now
facts.
it is, hey, the hiring manager might be from the West Coast, so she might gel with the person from the West Coast.
Oh,
It
facts.
might be based on religion. Now there's those
Facts.
other things. It could be people also don't realize, shoot, when you go to these jobs, it's also background checks. Did you pass the background check?
We
Did
do
you
F
smoke you a little 420 because you
facts.
can in your place? Like there's so many other things
Oh, facts.
that comes into that
Mhm,
conversation when it
mhm.
comes to you being a diverse person.
Facts. So I want to be clear. I want to be ADOS, born in the United States. So I was very intentional. And two is we do FBI fingerprint backgrounds because we're about that
Mm-hmm.
Stig life. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to get
And
FBI fingerprinted.
I was talking to D about that earlier. What really sets you apart, even with that, is you need a degree. You'll
Facts.
get
See,
in. You'll
we
get
t-
in.
facts.
Somebody a smooth and let you in,
Oh,
but
facts.
you need a degree.
The thing is, I've changed over the last 5 years where you have to be in search. But I tell people, you can't beat me on paper. I got a computer science degree. I have an MBA, and I'm from a major Midwest university. So I
Right.
check all those boxes.
Right. And so and this is why I go back to say, I always go back to your skills. Your
Facts.
skills really help you in knowing how to interview when you get in that position where you are you are the person that's got to make this tough decision.
Facts.
You don't know how many times I've been in the room where they're like, "Yeah, we're pulling down people from Harvard, and they're gonna do X, Y, and Z." And I'm like, "Well,
Facts.
they didn't pass the take home.
Facts. I
They
Where
see it
is
couldn't
all
the
the
do the
take
time.
work.
home?
They
Right.
couldn't do
Wow.
the take home." So
That's
we
weird
don't
because
we
right.
that's it. Are we gonna really punish somebody because they couldn't? Yes, that's our marker. If you can't finish the take home, that's our marker. If we're trying to be competitive on that. In some instances, we're like, okay, well, take your time on that take home, and then let's see what kind of work you get done, and then go from there.
I ain't never done a take home. I guess I've been lucky because I'm old. I've never done a take home.
I mean, I've done a take home, and I don't
No.
mind. I don't mind doing a take home, um, if it's not one of the ones that's super time consuming. Some of them be super time consuming.
Yeah, I've just never done. Now I've been
Right.
interviewed by 10 people, but I've never done a take home.
Yeah,
I've
I've
been
done
interviewed
that too.
by a panel, which doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
I
I've
actually,
done that too.
I actually like a panel. Let's get in and out. All y'all get in the room and let's do this, man. I got
Right,
something to do this evening, man.
right.
One on
And
ones.
but I think there was another question. The question said, "Do you
Yeah,
think that the diversity and inclusion is an indirect contradiction with the EEOC?"
contradiction. Why does he think? I guess why does he think it's a contradiction?
And you can come back up and explain your point, because I don't think it's a contradiction,
Yeah,
because
I don't.
again, like I said, it's a for me it's another way to cherry pick talent. And like I said, me and Tam, we were having this discussion earlier, is that also, oh shoot, we were having this discussion earlier that um what was I about to say? Damn it, it threw me off.
Yeah, just tell after Pete. Just expound on that because I don't understand the contradiction part.
What are you saying, D? You saying to say
Yeah,
something?
I'm waiting
I'm
for
I'm trying to
D.
bring my thought back, but I'm reading the comments and then my phone went on. We
It's
were
okay, D.
talking No, we were talking about
The EEOC.
I
Yeah,
know we were talking
diversity.
about the EEOC, but I was trying to remember what we were talking
We was
about.
talking about ADOS, and I was trying to be real
No, no,
direct.
no. Well, me and her were having a
Oh,
conversation
before okay,
this
okay.
morning in my office, and we were talking about getting hired, and it was more on the, like, when you talk about when people have a negative connotation of diversity and inclusion, they're
Mm-hmm.
automatically going to make it a race thing. But diversity
Facts.
and inclusion is more than just your race. It is about your diversity as a person, your perspective. And everybody is diverse. So even though we're all black, we share that in common, but we're all diverse. We have different backgrounds, we have different experiences, we grew up in different ecosystems, and all of that should be included in our conversations. And when it comes to building innovation, that's what I was going to say. And so, you know, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, that goes into other things as far as, disabilities acts,
Oh, that's
and
true.
your rights as a woman, and what you can say. You can't ask her if she's pregnant, or age discrimination, and things of that nature. When it comes to other conversations, oh, that's what I
Mhm.
was going to say. The math is mathing. When you look at the numbers don't lie. Diverse companies are successful companies. When you look at those statistics, it's saying that diversity is needed in order to push that envelope. It pushes the pendulum. They're more successful. And we were
He's
also
shaking
talking,
his head. Why you shaking your head?
Look at all you go Google, Facebook, Snapchat. They whiter than white. They
but
no
those are
diversity.
not the only companies, though.
But those are the big dollars that make them real
But
money. Now
but
you
hold on, but hold
go
on. Who's
ahead.
to say they're not diverse though?
When I looked at their
Who's to
board,
say? Who's to,
well,
that they bored?
I'm just thinking all of them got sued for diversity. That's why they trying to
But
get it
but
happening
but
because they
but
all got
again,
sued.
their thought of diversity is not does not come down to us as black
Oh,
people. It
facts.
comes
Now, if you
down
want to
to.
do that 100%, I
But
told you,
I'm
Tab.
just saying that's what
I
it
know, I
is.
agree. I tell you, I told you my diversity. I'm talking about ADOS FBA. That's the only diversity I got, Tam. I'm old. I ain't saying cisgender dude, and I'm not counting them dudes. I'm giving you ADOS, black, and maybe I'll give you women. That's all I got in my diversity bag, Tam.
And
I'm not
and I
adding
and what
120
I'm
other people in there. Go
I
ahead.
hear you. And what I'm simply saying, I'm playing devil's
Oh
advocate.
yeah,
Their idea of what diversity is they're already diverse,
facts.
right?
I agree with you.
They're
I agree.
already diverse.
I
So
agree.
again, if it came down to an Indian woman or a black woman getting hired, they can hire the Indian woman and still claim diversity.
Oh, facts, facts, and they are. And I told you my boss was counting them, and I told her she was crazy. So I don't disagree. I'm just telling you, as a black person, especially a black man, my
Hmm.
diversity is small.
Oh,
So
I
I
get it.
agree. I'm old, so I don't disagree with you, Tim. And they're
I get
100% right. I don't count. I'm talking about FBA people that built this country. That's who needs a helping hand. You bringing people already that got money. Most of those people are scholars. All the Asians you bring it over here have money. They're the top 2% of Asians.
it.
So to
Hmm.
me, that's not diversity. You just putting that in for black people that are poor. So,
Hmm.
but I don't disagree when you count them. That's more diverse. I just don't count them because I'm old, and I'm
But I
cool
think
with
most
that.
people identify when they say diversity and inclusion,
All
they
facts,
automatically think it's for black people.
all facts, and
We
that's what
were
I
talking about
say.
that earlier too. They
Yeah,
automatically think it's for black people, like
yeah,
the Asian man that we were reading an article about, and it's just
yes.
like, so when did a Asian man not become a diverse hire?
For
When it
me,
comes to, when if you taking it down the race, but he identifies, they I'm not gonna
So
say some, they
no, say
identify
all,
white
say all, say
white
all.
men,
Don't
you
put your
know.
feet, put your chest out like Kevin Hart. Say what?
but
Don't
I
say
can't say that
say all.
because some of them that I know don't identify that way.
Oh
Right.
yeah, but it's a minute set. It's a small set, and from a wealth
Only
standpoint, they
take
got
one to
all the
make it false.
facts, but they got all the money. So y'all, they don't need any help.
But
I don't
that's not
disagree.
necessarily true. I went to a public high school my last
Okay.
2 years of high school, and it was
Mm-hmm.
in an Asian area of town. And
Mm-hmm.
but in my math class, I sat next to a Chinese guy named Mark, and me and Mark would be looking at each other. I'm like, "What answer you get, Mark?" He was like, "I'm not smart." He was like, "Everybody think Asians are smart."
Oh,
He was like,
facts,
"We
facts.
flunking this class,
Right.
like we
So
is
let's
flunking." Like there are every race has a different social and economic groups within their race. They got class issues. They got their own issues. And so
facts.
we can't go and stereotype them and
Oh
say they
yes, we
got all the
can.
money and they
Yes,
got
we
all the
can.
we can't.
The
I mean,
reason why the reason why I tell you can do that, if you go look at the medium income for Asian, it's more than a white person. So I can
Yeah,
stereotype you.
yeah, it
That's all
is.
I'm saying.
I
Because
brought
what
that
I'm
up the
talking
other
about
day.
is what do you need to do to lift up the masses of black people, the 44 million? They're only worth $1,500. So I can stereotype Asians.
Yeah, because the Asians are
your
making
math is mathing.
yeah,
I'm talking money.
The Asian men. I looked
Facts.
this up today are making $1.15. The white men are making $1. The
Facts.
black men are making 87 cents.
That's incorrect.
No, that's the other
So
day. Let me
no,
go.
the reason why the reason
I just pulled it
no
up. Let me
no
go back.
no hold on, Tam. The reason why it's incorrect, your number's incorrect. The reason why is
That
nobody
ain't, that
thought.
ain't my numbers.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm giving them to you because you quoting them. But the reason why it's incorrect is they believe the incarceration rate will be less than 1%. It's 7% for men. So you need to count zero for all them dudes in jail, but they don't count those numbers because no race besides black men got more than 1% in jail. So you got to bring those numbers down.
Let's go. I can't wait. I don't. Hey, I don't do this. I don't do this.
Oh,
I
I do
quote.
this. I'm about this life too. I'm just telling you.
We
You got to
quote.
count
We
the brothers
quoting
in
here.
jail. They ain't
We
counting the
quoting
brothers
here.
in jail. I'm
But
telling you,
that's.
they're not.
I think that's about to change too.
So we getting better though. We got less people in the system, but I think still we got 7%. Everybody's less than 1%, so that's why they don't
Hold up.
count the
Go
people
back,
in
D. Hold
jail.
on. I ain't ready yet.
Yeah, hold up, D. I got a follower, so that's the only reason I think most people don't include the jail, and that brings it down a whole, I think, 3 or 4 cents.
That's fine. Let me find. I just had this up. I just had this up like like 5 seconds ago, and I closed my screen sound. I can't believe I did that. I was gonna showcase that. Hold on.
Man, I was supposed to put a video out there. D got me in here. It's 11 o'clock my time. I'm dozing off. I'm so old. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. D got me drinking pop. That ain't good for opposites diet, and I'm about to start a new diet in 2022, January. New year, new me.
What is the how do I want to look up?
So yeah, I think
How
we
much?
make a penny less than women to me when she take the dudes in jail.
I was saying drink some sparkling water. That'll give you the appeal of pop in
Nah, I
the
need
benefits of
caffeine.
water.
I need the benefits of caffeine. So, I need
Eat
the
an
benefit.
apple. One apple has the same energy in it as a cup of coffee.
Really?
Hmm.
I'm about to Google that, man. Google that for me, Tim. I think D trying to
What
trick
you
me.
say?
Yeah, I'm drinking. Like I'm a
Apple
drink.
versus coffee.
Yeah, I
Let
ain't
me
never
Yeah,
heard of
go.
one
that.
apple is equivalent to one cup of coffee.
Really? I might have to
Apple
switch over.
contains no caffeine, but it has about 13 grams of natural sugar.
Nah, I need less sugar. I'm pre-diabetic. I got to get it together, man.
I don't know, D. How did you find this?
We'll look up it later, but yeah, but I think because I don't think most of them don't have the like I said, the incarceration rate because
Well,
no other race
I have
got
to
more
go back
than
and pull up
one
what I
percent.
had found. I'll post it in the community channel.
That's
Where it was
cool.
showing that the Asian
Mm-hmm.
men were earning $1.15.
Mm-hmm.
White males were earning $1. Black males were earning 87 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was Hispanic and so forth. And I have to go back and pull that up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna send you the you ever listen to Tone Talks? He does that macro data for
mm-mm.
the Federal Reserve. So that's where I got the number because which I never thought he could said originally was 10% of black not in jail, but in the system. A lot of those dudes weren't counting in when you do income, they were at zero. So that brought it down. I think we're a penny less than women.
Mm. Well, I know one thing we need. We need more people in tech making more money. It's
Facts,
possible.
facts, facts. We need to get that accreditation money. I'll be quoting you. I like women in Linux, Tam, so I gotta get this accreditation money. I can't be high value man unless I get this accreditation money. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
work a little harder.
yeah,
Get me a suit
exactly.
on like Kevin Samuelson. It might be a little snug on me, but I need to give me one of them little
You just
You
skinny
gotta get
suits
one
like
that
you
fit.
let me
KS.
tell you, you can get one
Mm.
fitted to your specs.
Yeah,
Facts,
you just gotta
facts,
get one that fit.
facts, man. I'm trying to get one of them little skinny suits, man.
They'll
With
Like
make you
the
one. We just long as we don't see your ankles, we
no,
okay.
I gotta be flooding with no socks on. I
mm,
love to see the kids eat with the no socks. I like, man, your feet gotta be stinking, man. You got no dress shoes, player.
No, they had those don't see them socks
They
on the
do, they
ones
do.
them little bitty socks.
Because every time I go to work, I'll be like, damn, the kiddies got on them tight ass pants with them suits on, man. How y'all
do you on
breathing in them tight
FaceTime
ass?
over there?
Mm-mm.
Huh?
Oh, pull
Yeah.
the screen up.
What we looking at? What we looking at?
Now this is
Okay.
this say up to 2016. This was the black demographics. This is from
Oh,
their
fact,
web.
yeah, yeah, that's where I fall. But I still don't
Yeah,
think they got the.
yeah. I
Go
don't
ahead.
think they still have all their stuff. But again, so the one I'm talking about, everybody being at 200K and
Facts,
up,
facts.
right?
I'm close. I'm close.
All right, that's gonna put you at that one that again 2%, 3%, and maybe
Yeah.
3% because this go back to 2016. This is 5 years later, so it may be 3%. Who knows?
Purple.
But again, to get to that 200K and up, and then start investing your money,
Facts.
you're gonna need skill sets in order to do that, or you're gonna need to understand business, period, and how to hire people to do work, right? So that's just where I'm at with it, and what I would
Mm-hmm.
like to see for us. So
Facts.
that's why I talk about this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about diversity, but what about diversity in your income? What about diversity in your skill sets?
Which
Right.
what's each one of those bands for? Is that
Um,
that's
Let me
the
see.
Salary.
Yep. Let's
It's the
see.
salary.
salary per year. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
Mhm.
cool, cool, cool.
yeah. So they got red is poverty,
Facts, facts,
And
poverty
working
and
poor.
poor, right?
facts.
And then they got working class is the orange, and then working class and working poor. And then if our national average is what is it 50,000, right?
No, well, I know
Is it
that
60 or 50?
I
Just
thought it
the
was 50.
national average, not black man,
Oh,
not black woman.
51, 51, 52 for the national average.
And then
51, 50.
black men fall around 42, right?
Facts, facts.
And
That's what
then
I was
black women
thinking.
fall 35.
Were you? I thought y'all
Workers.
were above us.
We below.
You sure?
Yeah.
Y'all got all the degrees. I mean, come on. Okay.
There you go. We got all our
My fault.
PhDs.
I listened too much Kevin Samuel.
There
I'm
you go
tired.
with
I'm
our
sorry.
PhDs.
I
But again,
apologize.
even if we do, so here's the thing, and here's what I'm glad you said that, right? Even if we do, and even if that black man and that black woman still get together, they're just barely making it.
Facts. I believe that.
As
I
a
believe.
middle. So
I agree with
how do
that.
we get to, well, we're not just making it, right?
No, I
How
agree.
do we get past just being working class,
I tell
right?
everybody, y'all got the blueprint, man. I send them come women in Linux. Tam and D we need to get that 200, man. We got to get our game
Right.
up. So
No, but I
And
mean, this stuff out there that's counteractive. They want you to be what? Fit, fine, and submissive.
fit,
fit.
feminine and submissive,
Yeah, come on,
Oh,
fit,
D.
okay.
Get it right.
feminine
Come
and
on, get it
submissive,
right, D.
You
right?
don't watch
But
that
again,
stuff.
even still, all right. So even if you do all of that, right? Even if you fit feminine and submissive, that don't mean you going that your spouse or you gonna make 200K.
No, I'm just saying, what
Oh,
if you don't? If they don't want you to
you
work, and
you
we supposed to
saw
depend on his income?
you saw the little yellow
Yeah,
stripe, so you
yeah,
know that's small.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
small as
That
Two
was a
hell.
two
sliver. That
two
was a
hundred k.
sliver.
Yeah, 200K. 200K is is the yellow. Let me blow it up. Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
That's the
facts.
upper class, the upper
Yeah,
room.
200K up is 3%, 2% to 3%.
See,
Three
I'm upper
percent meaning
middle.
up to 2018, right?
Right,
That's the
yeah,
3% up to
I'm upper
2018,
middle, so I'm trying to do a
right?
little something in the upper middle. But then Tam told me I wasn't doing that until I got the 200, and Black Heights said I was no money, so I'm
But
confused. But go
again,
ahead.
in if we're talking about, well, we get into all of this living. I mean, I lived in DC, and
Oh,
uh,
facts. It
so
depends on where you live at.
I already know anything in Tyson's Corner, anything in Chantilly
Oh,
is $2,000,
You be back working
2,200,
poor.
2,300.
facts. It
That's just
depends.
rental income.
Facts. I'm in the middle. I'm in the Midwest where it's super cheap to live.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I move a
Well,
little different.
I because I know
Where
people.
you were talking about the town that I live in Indiana, so I was like, I live in Indiana. So
Okay, but again, I just want us to understand, like, it's gonna take some work, yeah, to get
all facts.
this even here, right?
All
I even
facts.
you can start here,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I want you in 2 or 3 years to be here, because
Facts.
now we're talking about investments. Now you're talking about you can make investments, like I always tell you, pull up your calculators to see what that money returns you, right? Like
Facts.
the RSUs, you got to think, of you gonna be at the company for 4 years? Are they gonna like you for you to stay around for 4 years?
Facts.
You know,
We
Facts.
like,
got a
what does that look
question,
at?
and it says, "Is this household or individual income?"
Let me
I'm talking
scroll down.
individual.
I think this may be
Oh,
in it's
uh,
annual household
oh,
income.
but anyway, high school. I'm talking individual. Well, because I'm divorced and nobody wants me, so I'm an
Oh
individual.
God.
So I
Oh
talk about how I move, man. I'm trying to
God.
be in
But
the
it's
We
eight
still a
need to
percent.
fix
household.
this. We need to fix this. You just be
Fix
coming
what?
in here
You
self-defeated.
know
Fix
what?
that.
We're gonna fix that
No,
right now.
no. I
Fix
love.
that.
We're gonna fix that right now.
Which
Me and
what are we
you,
fixing?
we
Uh,
finna fix this. Okay. So Professor
make my
Blackout,
head hurt right here.
me and you on a date right now. We're on a date
What?
right now. Me and you.
Oh
We're
my
on
God,
this
what we
date
doing?
right now. Me and
I
you.
told
What's up?
myself I was. I told B2B I wasn't doing any more dating questions. He had me
Me
doing
and you.
dating on
We on a
B2B.
date right now. It's me and
Okay,
you. Hey,
what's up?
how you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great. You look exquisite, Tam. How are you
Thank you
doing?
so much. Thank you so much. Did you enjoy your day? What did anything happen to you today?
Yeah, I had my normal day. I can't complain. The question was how was your day?
My day was excellent. Would you like to hear about it?
Of course.
Oh, well, today I actually got up, watched a couple of videos. You might find about AI and machine learning. If you
Okay,
want to know
okay.
about that, we could talk about that later.
Oh, facts,
Um,
facts.
then I ran a couple of errands. Had to go get my D left the screen. I had to go
Facts.
get.
You coaching me up, D. I need some help.
No, come on back. I ran a couple of errands, had to go get some laundry, went to the dry cleaning, came back, had a couple of wings, got ready for this show tonight. And then and then as I'm watching this show, I just laid my eyes on you and I just couldn't help. So I said I had to push up on you. So this is me spitting my game to you.
Okay, I enjoyed you. You're a beautiful person. The crazy thing is, I mean, I don't know if you like that. I'm just kind of enjoying myself in my life. I don't even know if I want to date people. I was on
We
another
dating
channel.
right now. We
We
dating right
dating.
now. We dating right now.
We got a lot of common.
As of right now, we go together.
We got.
You check yes. You check yes on the box.
Facts, facts. Ooh, I
You
would have.
check yes on the
Dita
box.
slid out, man. Dita slid out, man. Ooh, you've been out here. You know, it's crazy out here, Tam. I'm just from another generation. It's crazy out here, man.
It's a date. That's what they like. It's a date. D said she had to leave because it was a date. What would you like to eat? Like I know we're sitting here, we're enjoying each other's company. Or do you want to stay here and eat or you want to go somewhere else? What are your thoughts?
We'll probably go somewhere else. You can pick wherever you want to go. Let's go have a nice steak and have a tech conversation. You know, I'm trying to get some Ansible training. Because we're talking about Ansible. I got to work on my config files. I'm trying to be
That's
an
fine.
SRE
That's
before I
fine.
get 60. I ain't got much
What do you
time.
prefer? Are you a Texas de Brazil? Are you a Ruth Chris? Are you a Fugo de Chow? You're a
Oh, either
Prime?
one of
You're
those. Now let's go each one every other day, man, and let's try them all
hey,
out.
you try them all out. That's
I
fine. So
love
let's
Fogo. I like having my thing on green, but that's not good for my health. Just keep it on green. We got a
well,
Fogo down
it's
here.
okay. It's okay if you keep it on green. However, you got to do something to counteract that. So let's do this. Let's have a little steak. Let's
Okay.
have a couple of little drinks. Make sure we get our veggies in, and we'll get
Facts.
up tomorrow. I'll meet you out, and we'll go walking.
That'll work. I'm trying to get my walking on.
Make sure you drink you some water, flush your system
Facts,
out.
facts,
Let's do
facts.
that.
I've been trying to get
That
ascension. I'm
that
trying. I'm
sound
trying to
good to
get.
you?
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm trying to get that alkaline water, alkaline my body, like Dr. Sabi told me to do. I'm trying to get my
Well,
Dr.
get you some
Sabi
key
on.
limes. We can
Oh,
stop at
that's
the store
true.
and get you some key limes.
Facts, facts. I need to get my
Get
key
you
lime.
going. We're gonna get you back. All right,
I'm
then you
trying.
come back up.
But
He
yeah.
okay. He was a little nervous. He
I'm
was a
like, what
little
we going on a
nervous.
date? I was like, oh my God. I ain't been on a
He
date in
over there
probably 10
rubbing his
years.
head. He over there
Yeah.
stressed out. He about to be
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
screen. Like,
Yeah.
we do mock dates.
Yeah, I wasn't even ready for that. I'm like, where'd
They
D
ain't
go?
ready for no mock date. No,
Like D was like, D got the popcorn showed up. Like, what the hell happened? Oh boy, I got nervous. I was like, oh my God, that's
Yeah, that's right. We do impromptu dates around here.
oh
Hey,
man, so
hey,
this is
we
what
want
we do.
everybody to be on their A game. Like, hey,
I'm
with
good.
help
I'm not
me
a
help you. Like,
nah,
hey,
I'm
you
good.
don't count yourself out.
Nah, I'm
You
Look, let
start
good.
me
what you
look.
think about is
Send
what you bring about. You be
I'm
feeling
good.
old and decrepit. Your body
send
start acting old and decrepit.
me your address. I'm gonna send some Roof Chris to your house tomorrow.
Get the
I'm gonna
roof.
I'm gonna send you some Root Chris to your house and
Uh-oh, Afro P back up. I
yeah,
thought
and
D
some
was
key
shutting it
lime.
down.
Don't switch up. I know
Yeah.
he there. I can see the screen.
I
And
need Afro P to jump in there. I need
I
some
will
help.
and I'm gonna see you some key limes.
You
I'm
don't
gonna
need
see you
help,
some key
man.
limes
What you
and
need is
some
a
apples.
drink. That's what you need.
Facts. That's why we're generals AQ4. That's why you need to get into technology, man, so we can get this money.
Because the rolls is gonna come with the table at Ruth
Yeah, the
Chris.
rolls
They
gonna
already
come with
come. They
the rolls
put
gonna
the
come with
rolls
the meal.
there. Even
Shout out
at
to
Fogo, they drop you a little
I
bread
love
on the
that.
table.
My man said with the dinner rolls is $85.
Hey, they
Facts.
gonna
That's how
drop
we rolling.
and Ruth Chris, they gonna drop the rolls off with the soft butter.
It's the bread with the soft butter
Facts.
rolled up in the little
I like it come out on a
places.
hot plate sizzling.
The sizzle plate.
Go ahead, Afro P, get in there. I'm struggling, Afro P. I need you to get in there, man.
Listen,
You
man.
did good.
I am so glad that I don't have a need to date because, I've been married for a long time and I hope to stay married because I see what's out here, man. And woo, I feel
Everybody says that. I mean, I see what's out there. But I think it's all about like what you're willing to. I don't want to say put up with what you want. What's your core things that you want, right?
Facts.
You gotta be diverse in your dating.
And then you still have to date within your marriage. I mean, because if you don't date within your marriage, that keeps the spark alive. Because if you have kids, those kids leave, and then you don't want to be in a situation where your kids are growing and out the house, and you looking at a stranger. So you got to keep the spark alive.
Shout out for women from Limits. They do security, hardware, metal, and dating.
And dating.
And dating.
Date coaching.
And dating coaching.
Because everybody want to take you to coffee. We call that the coffee. We call that the pre-date.
That's cheap to me. I argue with the young guys. They're like, oh, because they call me a simp. They go, why would you take them out to dinner? I like to eat, man. That ain't a simp. I want to eat too.
Right.
So I don't know. You a simp. I'm like, okay, I'm 50, man. I'm good.
Yeah. And I don't know where it came to be where you are a simp because you want to go on a date and have something to eat. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're taking somebody on a first date to Fogo. That could be just as simple as you can go to where's the one we like to go to? Nordstrom's in Tampa, Nordstrom's Bistro, the Brazil.
That's expensive. They salads is $18. But I mean, you can go there. There are mom and pop. But you can go to have Mexican food or a local steakhouse. You don't have to go to some of the big name places. You can go within your budget. You can go on a picnic. Like, I don't understand why men don't feel like they need to court a woman. And if you don't have no money to date, don't date. Like,
wow, they just shut it down.
If in the traditional sense of the word, if that's what it's called, if you can't provide for a woman or show her what that life is, a glimpse into that life that she's going to have, then what's the purpose of wasting her time? Get yourself together.
Well, they going 50-50 though. The kids are talking 50-50.
I don't know. That's their choice. Luckily, my sisters is married.
So
that's the new thing.
They've been married for 10 and 15 years.
I'm jumping in real quick. I'm trying to get to 200K. So me taking a Tam to Fogo to the child, it ain't gonna hurt my wallet. I do well. That's not gonna even dent me. I'm not gonna worry about that little money going to Fogo the child. So for me,
because it's basically all you can eat.
Hold on. So let me go. Let me look up my plane ticket to come to DC. I'll be up there this weekend.
Now my brother is a gigolo though. He fall in that millennial category. He's a gigolo. The conversations he be having, I be like, I'd have to tell his daddy, he is slinging that thing.
In fact, but the problem though is young women are a little more transactional than older women. So they're like, if you provide, they giving it to you. So,
I'm not gonna even tell on old women.
Yeah.
All of this is transactional. Everybody's transactional.
You ain't gonna tell on these young chicas out here.
these young,
Afro P,
because
what you got
it's
going on, Afro P? You sound like you got a flat tire, Afro P. What you got going on, man? You sound like you got a
mm-mm.
flat tire, Afro P.
But you know what? We call it reciprocity. You know what I'm saying? It's
All facts.
reciprocity. It's it.
Facts.
Like people say you do it out of the kindness of your heart. Yeah, but you want somebody to reciprocate
All
kindness
facts.
back to
See,
you, to
I
yourself.
told I'm not gonna get on that because I get on a lot of shows and people want me to talk about how I don't want to get on that, but
People
yes, it's
want you to talk about what?
a red pill as an old man and how I move in society. So
I don't know. I don't know. For here's my take on everything. Right.
mhm,
And my take is this, and I'm always have this standpoint. Man and woman need to make as much money as you can.
facts.
I don't care. I don't care if you stay at home. You're a stay at home wife. If you're making jewelry, fine. If
Baking
you whatever,
cakes,
yeah, baking cakes,
watching
whatever,
kids.
whatever the case may be.
Facts.
Make as much money as you can, so in your later years you can really enjoy each other. And here's
Facts.
why I say enjoy each other. Just my own personal take. What I see black men dying around by 56, 60.
Damn, I'm 53. I'm done.
You know what I mean?
Nah, you right.
Some are kicking the bucket younger than
Oh,
that. They late
I
40s.
facts.
I
Facts.
mean the guy I went to prom with, um shit, he died at 42. He was a truck driver. He drove from Miami to North Carolina. He called his mom and he told his mom, "Hey, I don't feel good." And she said, "Why don't you just pull over and go to the hospital?" He's like, "Nah, I got to get this cargo there. I'm gonna fight through it."
Oh wow.
He got to the truck station in North Carolina. Before the ambulance can get there, he had two massive heart attacks and died. He died
Wow.
at 42.
Hmm.
I know a lot of guys from high school that died at 35, 25.
Hmm.
Uh, and there are a ton more that have died, like just dropping like flies. And I'm
Hmm.
not even talking about celebrities. I'm just talking about get up, go to work, working men. So to me, that put it on your back and carry the load is killing you.
Facts.
That's my own thought process. Now, if you want to take that on and have that and internalize that, that's fine. But if you are going to do that, you need to have some type of relaxation. And I'm not talking about relaxation like come home and be with your wife. You probably need to find some bonds where you can go to therapy, where you can talk to other men, where you can,
Mhm.
release that stress. It's already hard enough to get up, drive down the street, and hopefully somebody don't hit you. It's even harder where you got to get down the street and you're responsible for an entire family, and in some cases multiple families.
Facts. Because like D said, we swinging it too much, man. I told the dude we gotta need more discipline. We gotta stop swinging it so much. It's discipline on it.
Yeah, and it is and so I and I'm speaking from experience of being, being married, where uh I know what it's like to have one income, and you're looking at that person like, I want to help you fix it, and that person's like, no, I got it, but you don't. But you don't.
100%.
Right.
Right.
Everybody should build in on their strengths, and that's what the partnership was about. When I was married, luckily I had the ability to say, if I didn't want to go to work, I can go quit that job and go home and be okay with that. However, I did work, I did run my own business, and when financially times get lean, and sometimes that happens in a marriage,
Mhm.
you
Facts.
know my ex-husband was so used to paying a bill, a car note 3 times over, or just to get it out of the way, or pay these bills off. He really didn't know struggle as an adult man, and I was just like, you are stressing yourself out. Like, you don't have to pay all that bill if we don't need to, but I have it because I had saved up money and I was like, I got us. Like, don't worry about it. However, for a lot of men, and especially men that don't have other male role models, they model themselves off of other things that they see, whatever that might be, and it's always
Facts.
about being a provider.
Facts.
And sometimes that provision is only monetary, and they
Facts.
think just because that provision, it affords them the opportunity to dictate and to
Facts.
control what's going on. But I
Facts.
think what happens is you don't understand that provision is mental, it's physical,
Facts.
it's spiritual. It's showing
Mhm.
up with you, it's showing up in so many different ways. Yeah, you gave me money for the groceries and I went and bought them, but hey, I need help carrying them in the house. I might need some help cooking a little bit. Like,
No.
let's what are we doing? And so I think that's what gets kind of lost in translation.
Facts.
Your marriage can be whatever you want it to be. What Tam's marriage looked like was different than what my marriage looked like. What's
Facts.
different
Facts.
than your marriage looked like. We all
Facts.
unfortunately are divorced, but fortunate enough to have experienced that bond with somebody and know
Facts.
what it's like. So if we do step into it, because somebody might come and blow your mind and you say, hey, and she might say, you know what, I don't want to get married to you. I just want to we gonna just be life partners. And she's probably gonna be all right with that, because you know what? That's what happens in your
Facts.
relationship. You do what the heck you want to do with your person and y'all go ride that thing on out. So it means so many different things to different people, but all we're simply saying is that we are behind as Black people,
Facts.
and the conversations that people are having are frivolous, and it's getting
Facts.
us nowhere. We can debate the validity of relationships, what
I
type of
agree with that.
relationships, how we supposed to do relationships all day. It's about a mutual respect. And it's
Facts.
about, in going to this life, respecting somebody, this
Mhm.
imperfect person, to walk this path. Because if it's about the institution of marriage, it's a contract with God to walk this imperfect path with this person and get stuff done. And whether you're gonna raise your children or if y'all just gonna do it alone, it is what it is. But
Mm.
what we need to do is we need to start building, because there's things that we don't have.
Facts.
We don't have. And the
Mhm.
numbers, the math is not lying.
Oh, the math is ugly too, but
The math
the,
is
the
totally, it's terrible.
mm,
not even just the math of it. It's just even the ability to make your money and grow it. Even you just imagine if you were making 50,000 and you had a family of four and you
man,
maxed out your 401k.
okay.
You maxed out your 401k. Your wife is at home, and here's the other thing that people don't realize: you don't never know when somebody's gonna get sick or they got an
Oh,
ailment
facts.
that come up
Facts.
that they
Facts.
didn't know they had.
Facts.
They get cancer. Somebody ends up getting sick, and the sick turns into something else.
No,
But
no,
it's still
100%.
we you know what I'm saying,
It
we
could be a
get off.
parent, it could be a child, it could
Yeah,
be
and we just
anything.
we get off, and I look at all these channels because I'm looking at it for, like, okay, where are we at? Where are we really at? Because am I missing the mark? Like, where are we at? Am I missing the mark and saying go for the 200,000?
Mm-mm.
Because we're missing something over here. Like we're like literally missing something because
The only
none of,
problem, is you don't miss the mark. You're not missing the mark because, as you well know, it's a process to get there, right? And I think that's what we're not putting in the work to get there.
but here's the other part of that, right? Is okay. Let's say that the woman does stay at home and the man goes to work and he makes the 200K. How is that? How is that household being? How's that household? I don't want to say being ran, I just want to say how are we distributing that amongst the family, meaning the immediate family of that man and that woman, and and building on that. Are we able to build on that? What does that look like, right? Because at the end of the day, if he gets sick, can we are we going to be able to make it on short-term disability, or he loses his job, or he has an accident, are we able to make it? And those are the things that I think about, is
Mhm.
how do we ensure that our family still sustains,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And people say live below your means. You can live below your means all day long, but if you don't have the proper insurance, that
Oh, facts.
that that'll that'll go real quick. If
And
you
you
don't
know,
have the proper insurance, if you don't have no
yeah,
life insurance, if
yeah.
you don't have no gap insurance, you don't have, you know, these things. If you don't have these things, these provisions, these
Mhm.
guardrails put in place,
Like, but we know one of the quickest ways to declare bankruptcy is medical bills. If you get
right,
sick and you ain't got no good medical, you toast. Because
right,
I blacked out of the restaurant. Long story short, my blood pressure dropped. The ambulance rides was 2 miles. The ambulance rides was 2 grand, and I had to get saline, nothing big, get my blood pressure out. That was 2 grand. That was 4 grand. My insurance, I paid 200 each. Without that, I'd had a 4 grand bill for about a 4 hour hospital stay. They didn't even give
right,
me a room. I was sitting in the hallway getting saline. That was two
right.
grand.
Throw him on the wall.
Yeah, but he did. I'm like, I don't get no room. I'm just standing
No,
out here in
throw
the
you on the
hall.
wall. You don't
Yeah,
need. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
right. Facts.
Fix it. You can fix this.
Facts. I told my buddy, he was with me. He goes, I was like, man, we should have got an Uber ride. That'd have been cheaper than 2 grand.
Yep. And
Oh,
I
facts,
just want to
Jonathan. 100%.
I just want to make sure that everybody understand this ain't no real pill talk. This ain't no blue pill talk. This is
Right.
just
Facts. Facts.
Tamika's
Facts. Facts.
perspective. I just think you have a better foundation to starting out if both of y'all could be in the game where y'all
Oh,
both are making
100%.
150 to 200K. Even
Mm-hmm.
if she decides that she wants to have kids,
Mm-hmm.
get let her work for 3 years, and stack all her money and then go have the kid,
Oh,
right?
100%.
So now you got a good healthy start, so when you out there making your money, or even if you decide that you don't like the job that you at and you willing to
Mm-hmm.
take a pay cut, just imagine if you stack that 200K for 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
Just the
facts.
paycheck alone gets you
Yeah, you
you
kill.
know, in a better situation, right?
Yeah,
You're
you
not
kill
And
it.
then
pushing.
let that make you some money. I'm just throwing it out there. You don't have to do it. I'm just simply
Thanks.
saying, let's come up with better ways to solve the problem versus arguing about the problem.
No, we love arguing about it, man. People make millions of dollars arguing about
But that's
my
what
no.
but that feeds the algorithm.
Oh, facts,
That's the other thing
facts,
that feeds the algorithm,
facts,
that
facts.
continues that bias that comes out, you know,
I
because
agree.
you know people use AI and machine learning to
Mm-hmm.
actually literally make articles. They
Facts, hundred
literally
percent.
just put out articles, right? We've already seen the other folks overseas do it for the campaigns, right? So why continue to feed the algorithm? That just I
No,
don't that don't make sense to me.
yeah. Another thing I want to
I
add to
like
what
solutions.
Tam said, you talk about red pill, purple pill, whatever pill is, to build a strong community that's actually built on families. So all the time, that's how you build a strong community is two people together, building a family, raising kids, and to a community. That's really what it's about in the end.
Right. And the other part is we just gotta find better ways to communicate, even amongst friends. Like
Oh,
just
facts.
finding ways to communicate. That's why I'm like, hey, if you don't like to write, talk it out. If you don't like to talk it out, type it out. If you don't like to type it out, literally handwrite it out. Find a
We're
way
not
to
writing cursive anymore, Tim. Nobody's writing cursive. No, I'm just playing. We don't know how to
find a
write
way to
cursive.
communicate, right?
No, facts,
You
facts.
know, and again, some people are not good with words, right? Some people are
Facts.
not good in the moment with words, you know. Find out what works for you to have effective communication to a person. And this goes into your teams too. This goes back full circle to your teams. Not everybody on your team can listen to you and understand you,
Oh, facts,
right?
facts.
Some people can read something and better understand what you're saying, right? So just be aware of how you communicate to people,
Oh, I
and
agree.
how you receive information too is important.
I make a ton of money because a lot of my Indian homies and foreign homies, they got thick accents. They can't even communicate. So I actually communicated for them. Just communicating with a customer because they struggle with that. So
Hmm. The accents are strong.
yeah, it took me a while. My man, he was saying build the module. I thought he was saying beautiful module. I'm like, what? The module's beautiful? What were we talking about, man? But I hang around with him more. So shut up. We're cool now. But
and
no,
I
you
and I
right.
think Jonathan had said something earlier. Jonathan, let me scroll back up to what you were saying. You saying money and wealth aren't necessarily the same thing. No, they're not.
Oh, 100%. Because you can
No,
make
they're not.
income and not have any wealth, which is traditional for us. You can have dudes make $100,000 and be broke as hell
Hmm.
with no investment. So no, we definitely know those aren't the same thing because the median
Well,
amount of wealth for Black people I thought was $1,500 when you take out depreciating assets. It was
yep.
something
And I
super
think we're
small.
supposed in 2053 we're supposed to be
Must be
zero.
zero, zero, right? So zero. So
That
now,
means your
John, you
house.
were
That means all your house, all everything that you done is gonna be nothing as a whole,
facts. You leave nothing but debt to your kids, man.
But you
right?
know what, Tam, in order to have effective communication, because you can be talking a lot and not saying nothing.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it comes down to emotional intelligence. And some people, and just like we're studying these tech skills
Mm-hmm.
and this high tech Linux and Ansible and Terraform and
Say it again. That sounds
cloud.
sexy.
Facts.
That
IWS cloud
sounds sexy.
formation.
GCP, all this good stuff.
Woo!
We also need
Facts.
to work on soft skills in a real way when it comes to leadership. And we have a leadership channel in Slack as well. But your mental health, a holistic approach, you need to always be learning that as well and growing when it comes to emotional intelligence,
Facts.
management, leadership, self-help, what food, when we just talking about, getting in the ambulance, food, how that helps you in the day, like, helps with how your moods are. And then once you like kind of dial into this holistic approach, you'll start noticing things in others, and you can see it, and that discernment starts picking up, and you can see it coming a mile away, and then you can know how to align yourself with other people to get what you need to get done. Because when you're not where you need to be mentally, you'll find yourself reacting on everything, and then you start
Mm-hmm.
looking sloppy, you start looking weak, and then you lose your power. People
Yep.
start picking at you. They know which buttons to press to get things done and out of you and all that stuff. You don't want to be that person.
Yep.
You definitely
And
will not when it comes to being a multiplier.
yep. And the other piece of that is you really need to invest in self. Like really
Facts.
invest in self. Like
Facts.
um understanding like sometimes those triggers come from childhood, they come from
Traumas.
family, they come,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a certain scent that you smell and that's a trigger, right? It could
Facts.
be
Facts.
it could be somebody saying something a certain way, it's a trigger. I know when I call Dion name in a certain way, it's a trigger for her. Like when I call her, I be like, Dion. She be like, why do you do that? You know I don't like that.
And she knows why I don't like that. That is the mama I want something, and then that triggers the bird that used to just call the parrot we had growing up, that it just be calling my name exactly how my mama called my name all day. Dion, Dion. Dion, stop saying my name.
Facts,
Just
facts.
ask the question. I'm like, yo, just ask the question. What do you want? Those type of things. But when you're close to people, they're going to know your triggers regardless. But when you are out in the field of life, you need to have a little bit more armor on. I think people that are close to you that love you, we play like that at times. But it's we want you to be all right. We're not saying uh Tam, everybody know Tam is team no sleep. Everybody can't be Tam. Tam can't be Tam. Tam be tired. Tam get tired and be like, oh gosh, I just hear her sleeping. Like, you have to do what works for you. And all this is all we are delivering is resources, and so that you can apply what you need to your life or what you don't need. So it can help you make an informed decision about where you need to go. Period. Are
Now,
we
Professor,
experts? Can we be experts in our field? Absolutely, we can be experts in our fields because we got over 20 plus years in our respective industries. We put in the work. We are people of a certain age, and cannot say you can learn anything from anybody, no matter what age we
when
are.
people are a certain age,
We from the early 1900s. We played around in the early 1900s,
Facts,
so
in the late
facts,
nineteen
late
hundreds,
1900s. That's what it
late
is.
facts.
Late
1900s.
1900s. We right now, we on top. So we just want everybody to get your lane, get your lane, stay in it, and be okay in it.
But I just
Everything
want
that you hear can't trigger you to want to knock you off your path. I want to
Facts.
go in the cloud. I want to go into programming. I want to do that. Just take a little chunk, work
Mhm.
on that little chunk, and then keep it moving. You can't do it all at one time. And if
but
you can, more power to you.
but I do
That's not
want to
how I learned.
but I do want to say this, Professor Blackouts. I know you're getting tired over there. I just want to make sure that you before you get out of here, you send me your address so I can send you a little steak and apples and stuff tomorrow. I want you. We want to keep you healthy, keep you around.
I
You gotta come
appreciate it.
back. You gotta come
Sounds
back
good.
so you can be up on your anvil. But
Facts,
again,
facts.
but what do you saying is true. I just want us to stop the bickering because it has not led to any more money.
No, less money probably.
Get
Less
less
money.
money.
What's the
You're
plan? That's what
100%.
we need to know. What's the plan? That's all
So,
our question is. What's the plan? If you're going into anybody's life, whether it be friendships, relationships, business ships, everybody want to know what's the plan.
facts,
What is the plan? What are we planning to do? And then you work out your goals. How are we gonna get there? If we
facts.
if we if we agree on these goals, how are we gonna get there?
Now Tracy LA asked me, the inequity in this nation is inconceivable
I saw that.
and for some, debilitating. The question is, will the field ever be leveled here? I don't think the field will be leveled here anywhere else, right? Because I here's my take on that, right? As a, what do you call them, ADOS, African,
ADOS.
okay, yeah, whatever.
ADOS.
I'm
Right,
from
right, right.
Georgia.
Can you say,
Facts.
can you, for the people who don't know what the acronym
ADOS.
means,
Yeah, go ahead.
is what?
African, yeah, African, American descendants of slavery.
Okay,
Okay,
American descendants of slavery.
okay,
You can trace your family back to slavery. So
okay.
okay, yeah.
that's
So
Tone Toxin and Vet Cornell created that.
My grandmother
okay,
picked cotton, and she just passed away at
Facts.
81. Like,
Um,
yeah, my
facts.
grandma picked cotton too. She picked
Facts. Facts.
cotton. She didn't finish I believe, the third grade, and she could barely write. Right.
Facts.
So here I am in engineering, and doing fine. Right.
Good.
I'm not surviving. I'm thriving. I could say that. Right. Um, I pick what I want to do and where I want to go, but I put in work to do that, and I understood when I got into it, how the game was.
Hmm.
So, with that thought being said, can I take my skill sets and go somewhere like Jamaica or Africa and still thrive? I don't know. I don't know how receptive, uh, that culture would be to me being there.
I
and
guess
I
I'm
don't.
thinking you go on vacation and just work remote. But go ahead.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how receptive that that culture is. Not to say that they won't be. I just say I just don't know how receptive. I hear they would be receptive, but that's coming from somebody who's from there. That's not
Facts.
coming from somebody who is me living there. Right? That's two different things. So I really don't know when it comes to that.
No,
And
for
then
me.
there was another one that you had asked. Uh, you was just talking to a friend. But okay, I think that was it. Yeah,
Well, I think it, like I said, leveling is another thing. I think, especially your channel, you're giving people the blueprint to be able to get those skills. Even if you don't get to the 200,000 skills, you can get to 100,000.
right,
KS win the top 8%. If you like you said, if you don't do the bickering game, right? So
right.
there's plenty of money behind here, and your channel's excellent. I mean, there's a lot of verticals, your favorite words, that you can get into and get the bag.
Immediately,
Yeah, immediately. Let's be real, it's not going to take you that long if you put in the work.
right,
If you put in the work, you can do cloud, architecture, Linux. I'm a programmer, cybersecurity. There's so many verticals
right,
based on Linux or anyone where you can jump in and make the golden thing is everybody wants to make six figures. And there's a tons of ways to do that if
right.
you put in the work and time. It's not magic. You got to put in some work, but
And I was just on Erica Williams show, listening to this lady talk, and her name was Rochelle. I forget Rochelle's last name, but anyway, long story short, she was talking about her pulling in $100,000 a month on working with people in trades, in terms of, again, getting back to that conversation about, okay, how to fix a refrigerator, how to do property preservation, how to
facts,
and so I look at that as I don't have to do it, but I can invest and get a crew
facts.
and have a crew do it. Now, what does
Yeah,
that business structure look like, and how much does that work? How much can that I can how much do I have to put in order to build that? But
right.
but if I didn't have the liquid money sitting
Mhm.
aside, being that I've worked or whatnot, I can always borrow against a life insurance policy. I can borrow
Facts.
against a 401k. I
Which
could
I've done. Yes,
I,
for
I
one.
could go
Yeah.
take I could go take out a loan. I can go
Mhm.
sell a car.
Facts.
I could go sell a watch. It's
Leverage.
just other avenues that you can have to build your wealth and
Mhm.
maintain an appreciating asset versus a depreciating asset.
Facts.
And when you need that liquid, you can go just sell it and get it, right?
Facts. But it's even deeper than that because if you get in real estate, which I got a couple smaller investments, is we were hiring a lot of black people, so it was actually like you call it a multiplier. I come in, this dude is just my son gave me a task of breaking up this concrete step so we can frame it and put concrete on it. So this guy was doing it. He came up, I'll never forget. He goes, I just really want to thank you, man. I just got out of jail. I couldn't get a job. I needed to feed my kids, right? And the crazy thing, I look at my son, and my son looks me straight in the face and goes, "Yeah, Dad, we picked him up. We paid him $8 an hour." I'm like, "Can we at least pay that dude 12? He got kids, son. We don't want to be like my son. He's hardcore. He's street guy." He goes, "Daddy, you giving away the profits?" I'm like, "Dude, we're gonna get in the habit. Pay that dude $12 an hour." He was just happy to get it, but that's the force multiplier you talking about. That. So we're investing and we're employing people. And that dude was happy to get that. Of course, that's probably 12 years ago when I did my first part. But he was just ecstatic to be able to make some money and take it home.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To
And I never
feed.
forget that. And my son got him out there like Kunta Kinte breaking his concrete with a sledge. I'm like, can we rent a jackhammer for the dude? My son's like, no, let's get into profits. I'm like, come on, son.
Cold piece.
My
Cold
He
piece.
son,
get that from his daddy.
yeah, I'm like, can we don't want to be the bad like the other people, man. Can we pay a little more and just get to do $4 more?
What they
My
call him,
son,
Mr. Charlie. You be over
yeah,
there like Mr.
yeah.
Charlie.
So that $4 times 8 sons gonna cost an extra 32. I think we can spare it, man.
Right.
We got the budget, man. Make that happen. So, but that
Yeah.
way, like you said, you employing people, you doing stuff, and it was crazy. So
But you know what? I mean, we not that old, even though I say we're of a certain age. But I remember my mom would go to the cleaners. It was owned by a black man.
Oh,
You
facts.
know, we would go to the corner store. It was
Mm-hmm.
owned by a black man.
Right.
There were businesses that were within the community that you can go to, and in bigger cities, the corner stores are like the grocery store. Like the
Facts.
Hmm.
equivalent to the Publix or the Krogers, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where people go shop today. And a few years ago, I made a conscious decision to keep wealth within the community, and I saw out back black business.
Facts.
And we have friends that are of other nationalities, and they say straight up, we keep the money within our community, but the people that we hire aren't necessarily the best. Sometimes we end up losing money
Facts. Facts.
dealing with people we know. And me and Tamika have lost money dealing
Oh,
with
man.
dealing with people, but we made that decision
Facts.
to go
Facts.
ahead and do it. But I mean, I was trying to get my brother out here so I can buy him a pool cleaning route, because I couldn't find anybody to clean the pool. And the one black guy I know, he's so swamped, and he don't even have the tools to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But he is constantly working. And a man like him, we would try to say, you do need somebody to invest in you, because they're now you self-employed, you don't have a business. If you don't go to
Hmm.
work, you don't eat. So that becomes
Facts.
that stress and that strain.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see these businesses
Scale.
in the community, and how do you multiply them? How do you get all these
Mm-hmm.
individual lawn guys under one umbrella so that you can deploy them out to where they need to be? These
Mhm.
handymen that they're great at their craft, but they're terrible at invoicing. I worked in these fields. I've
Facts.
helped. These are businesses that I've had, so I
Mm-hmm.
know how these businesses run. You can do the job, but you're not going to get paid if that invoice is in. Let me help
Oh,
you
man.
do your back office. How do we help you systematize? How do we each other take our strengths? Why are there so many black beauty salons? Why is it no black like Fantastic Sam's, where you can go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere across the country to this one beauty salon? Because it says something about people holding on to their little piece and not
Mm-hmm.
knowing how to grow, not
Facts.
Mhm.
knowing how to multiply. And they're just like,
Mm-hmm.
Suffocating.
this is mine, and I'm just gonna do it. Well, there's an easier way to do that.
Facts.
it,
Facts.
it's an easier way to do that. And here, we invest in locally in the community. And for a while, before I got the job that I have now, I was going to a lot of community meetings and things of that nature. And I went to one for developers, and the conversation was, how they didn't want these big developers coming in and changing the
Mm-hmm.
landscape, and how they're going to get their little piece. And I said, well, I'm a resident, and I've been here. I'm considering myself a Floridian. And I said, and I'm an investor, and I consider myself a developer. And I said, this is the face of developers as well, is that it's a small person that wants to see the community grow. However, you have these lots that Big Mama passed down over the years and
Mm-hmm.
said, don't sell the land, but it's not doing anything to the community. How can we have these conversations about lease buybacks, and how can we
Mm-hmm.
develop this land so that your family get residuals off of this land, and it's not just a vacant lot with garbage in it, or
Mm-hmm.
it's getting taken because you hadn't paid the taxes. Like, that's
Facts.
the conversations that we need to be happening. The difference between some of the great divide in our city is curb appeal. What do we do? What can we put together? Do seniors know about the programs that the city has in order to fix a roof or replace old windows and things of that nature?
Mhm.
That's when it
Clean up
comes
the
to
property.
cleaning up
Mm-hmm.
that's when it comes to giving back and to building
Mm-hmm.
your existing community, because it happens all over. I've been all over this United States, and the same thing has happened to black communities all across this United States. The same exact thing. You go move far out to go, everybody move out. It's a mass exodus, and then it's a mass coming back. And then so you leave all the good things. I was talking to a contractor about his own city, and he was just like, man, he was like, I never thought about this place like this. He
In
said,
that
you've
way.
given me a whole new perspective about a city that I've grown up in all my life. And I said, because you're going to get pushed out and not going to be able to come back. You're going to be able to make a few dollars,
Oh, yeah, they're
but you're
done.
never going to get the true wealth if you move, because that land that was the city was giving away for free, those lots is $100,000.
Happened to
Yep.
where I used to live at. Yeah, I had to pay my mom taxes because long story, when the property values go up, the taxes go up, and that's how you push old people out because they can't afford the taxes for them $300,000 houses now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The property values here, like, started at, like, the lots they was giving away for free. They was $2,000, $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now the lots go for 129. It's a lot
Oh,
that's over on the north side. That lot is going for 450,000.
man, that's crazy. But yeah,
And it's so crazy. They don't even realize that what advantage that they have, because they've grown up in these places and
Mhm.
they know the community. They know who auntie owned this house, or who left who, or what family is holding on to this. Like, what are you guys doing to work? No, y'all want to go get a brand new house. My family did it. And
Mhm.
it's just like, my grandmother sold her house in San Francisco, and it was a 3-story flat where my whole family lived in the building. And it was just like, me and my cousin, we were the oldest. We were just going off to college, and we were just like, man, if it could be, we just need a little bit more time. Like, if I just had a little bit more time, and we pass it, and we're just, my stepmother, her mother just sold. And some things are just greed at the end of the day. But
Mhm.
you look at these places, and I think about, all of this generational wealth that was lost,
Mhm.
not only to, the crack epidemic, because that it's that lost generation in the middle as
Mhm.
well. And so now, us at this age, we're helping our parents. Some of our parents we
The
don't
squeeze,
have to help.
we're considered the squeeze generation.
The squeeze
Facts.
generation,
Yeah,
you know.
Gen X is considered the squeeze generation because you have to take care of your parents, and then you have your kids that you got to take care of. Luckily for me, my mom is self sufficient. I don't have to.
Facts.
you know.
She's self sufficient. I don't have to do nothing for her unless something gets delivered to her house and I'm there. She said everything that comes in an Amazon box and delivered to the house, and I order it and I'm there, it belongs to her, regardless if I bought it. So that's her thing. But she's self sufficient in that regards, and she's already, like I said before, she's already told me, you don't have no other siblings. I ain't have no other kids. Here's my
Facts.
insurance policy. I want,
Facts.
don't pay no more than $10,000 for me, and don't let nobody in my house.
Facts. My
This-
mom, yeah, my mom passed away and it was crazy. So I go to the funeral home. She was paying on everything she wanted, so I didn't have to pick anything. So she had everything. So me and my sons,
Are you an
talking
only
to.
child?
I am. So my
Join,
son was in
welcome.
there with me. Yeah, we were joking, and I said, because it wasn't ugly, but it was kind of basic stuff. So I was great, upgrade everything, and my son broke out laughing. He said, "Boy, your mom gonna come back and hunt you. You spend more than she tell you. You better just leave that alone." So we both laughed. She goes, "Yeah, we better let that go. She gonna be mad if we put in
She
extra
got
money."
exactly what she
She
wanted. My
got
grandmother
exactly
did the same. My dad's mom
exactly
did
what she wanted.
exactly the same thing. She had paid for everything. Everything was
Facts.
picked out. Except the
Open it.
casket, because she wanted to
Okay.
give my aunt something to do.
Okay.
But
My
other
mom.
than
Yeah.
but other than that, and and I tell my mom, because out of all my friends, my mom was the young mom. My mom is maybe 64, 65
Okay.
now. And back then, all of my friends' mothers, my friends were the youngest of,
Mm.
of the siblings. And so it's just like, I tell her, you over here tootsie rolling, you need to write some stuff down on a piece of paper.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
don't keep telling me what I need to do. I need you to
Yeah.
write some stuff down. I
So
need you
yeah,
to
I'm gonna
get it
start
together.
doing that. I'm gonna pick my stuff out and start paying on. I just told my son to be paid for. Like I said, she didn't have it all paid out, but I just dropped the credit card and it was it. And where we at, it was just big enough where you could. It was a 200-person sanctuary, so we did everything right there.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was like, oh, that's the
Do
way.
you have a big family, or it's just a small family, or
Well,
medium?
it was big, but my mom lived 92. She outlived all her friends, so it ended up
Mm-hmm.
being a small ceremony because because like I said, she outlived all her friends, and by 92, so it became
Yeah, and my
small.
grandmother lived. Well, we don't really know. Let's say that. Let's say because back in the day in Georgia, they were burning records.
Oh,
Like
facts.
they were burning black people records, right? Because they didn't want to be able to trace them anywhere, especially when it came down to slavery. So her records got burned.
Mm,
So when we went to bury her, they were like, "Oh, she was older," because that wasn't at her actual birthday. She had been
wow.
celebrating, on a certain day, but they was like, "No, this not even her month or her year."
Wow.
So when it came down to my grandmother, as far as I know, right, she
Hmm.
passed when she was 88. But my grandmother buried her mom, her dad, and her
Wow.
grandmother and all her siblings, and it was seven of them.
Oh,
And
wow.
so she buried everybody, but she also raised everybody as well too. So between my cousins and my aunts and all of them, they were all raised by my grandmother. So she in totality, she raised at least 40 people in
Right.
totality that all
Right.
actually came and lived in her house, and
Hmm.
she cooked for them, and she had policies on them, and she made sure that again, and I guess that's where I get it from in this group.
Hmm.
You can't out you can't walk away from this group without having a set of skills, being able to survive, get your
Hmm.
job in tech, and move. And that's probably where I get that from,
Hmm.
because I don't believe in you getting out there and not having a solid foundation in order to build where you need to go. So um when it
Facts.
comes down to us, you know sharing knowledge, I'm used to that. Let share that knowledge. So it don't make sense for me to hoard it all when I can share that knowledge with you, so you can go on and 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 push out and share other knowledge with other people. So you know that's how I see it. Not everybody
Facts.
sees life that way, and not everybody respects that too. You have to just
Facts.
be mindful of that. What you say now, Tracy LA? You say loving my neighbors on next door, following a heated conversation about New York developers is running from
Facts.
Philly for a lot to drop a home or a condo. Yep, yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like next door, they kicked me off.
Did they?
They kicked me off of next door. Yeah. So long story short, we went to this restaurant, and I went to this restaurant. It was new. It was a new pizza spot. I had ate there like the day before or 2 days before, and I was like, "Hey D, I want you to come with me because I like this restaurant. It was take the pizza was tasty. Blah blah
And
blah blah
it was
blah."
close. It was in the neighborhood because we usually have to leave our neighborhood
Hmm.
to go to the restaurants
Right.
we like to
And
go to.
and they closed I think they closed at 9, and we went there about 8:45. But when we walked in, I said, "Are y'all still open?" And they said, "Yes." I said, "Are y'all still serving to sit down to eat?" They was like, "Yes, come in and sit down." So we went in and we sat down to eat. And I ordered my food, and D wanted a salad, but I think you got a Greek salad, but you wanted everything chopped up on the salad, right? You wanted your
Right, right.
veggies chopped up on the salad. And so she was like, "Well, usually the chef doesn't like doing that, but I'll ask if the chef could chop up the onions and the tomatoes or
It
whatnot."
was a
And I was
Greek
like, "Okay."
salad, and some people make it where it's just the lettuce, and they had the big old tomatoes, and you got to do all the stuff yourself. So I ordered a chopped Greek salad.
Right. And so she went to the back, and I think she asked the guy, and we overheard, him, like, saying something, right? And then she came back out, but she didn't relay the message that he had said to her. And so D was like, "So I guess that's a no." And she was like, "Oh, let me go
She
ask."
was
But
avoiding. She was
yeah,
definitely
in the
avoiding.
meantime, my pizza hat came out. And so when she went back to ask about this salad, the guy comes from the back. Now
Oh
he's
my
the
god.
owner. He's also the owner. He comes from the back, and he goes, What do you say? You didn't like something? He's like, you
He's
didn't
like,
you
nobody does it like that. And he was a
yeah.
dragon. He
He was
came out there like a rabid dog, foaming
Yeah,
at the mouth.
he came and he got in her face and he was and he was like, what do you didn't like something I said? You didn't like something I said? Don't nobody order this. And then you had the nerve to come in here at the last minute. It got so bad that his son started crying.
His
And
son came to, he was like, Dad. His son came to apologize to me with tears in his eyes. And I said, this is his dad, his son. His son was like, le- he wasn't
13,
even 17
14.
years old. His son came to apologize to me. And the women in the place, they were just like on pins and needles. But the guy, he got so heated so fast, and he was just like, well, I comped the salad, and I was like, F this salad. Like, I'm not putting this energy in my body. F this salad. You don't have to give me, you're not gonna treat me bad because you think you gave me something for free.
Right. So needless to say, I wrote this post up on Nextdoor. So when I wrote this post up on Nextdoor, other people had came out and shared their same experience with this guy. Of
Hmm.
So
course,
they were,
it,
some were positive and some
yeah.
were negative.
And then this one guy, he was like, all you want to do is just come on here and shut something down and attack. If you didn't like it, you should have just left. And then another person, another woman, of course, she came for me, and of course I went back at her. And then when I went in, like, he eventually came in and wrote his this long paragraph and whatnot, and everybody was like, "Oh, he guilty." We could see how you are the guilty person. So needless to say, about a week later, the place was shut down. It was gone. It's a whole new
Wow.
restaurant now.
And
But
he
I can't
went
get
from
back
like
on
a
next door.
food truck to a space, and he could not handle the pressure. And some people, you're not ready to expand. And I mean, he was mean and nasty, like he wanted to fight me. And I was just, and when you get to know me, I've been in the service industry, so I am very conscious of how people treat you in the service business, and I've seen some of the things that you can do. So there's certain behaviors, you know what, I'm not going to even play with you, I'm cool. Like, I don't want that. I'm not going to even fool with that, because you're not about to mess with me and my food. I'm not
But
playing with
you
you. But
but Professor,
he was so angry. He came
Hmm.
out there like he was gonna fight me about this salad. And I was just like, no, thank you. I'm good.
but
Like,
Professor
where
Black
your
Ops,
people are apologizing for you and you are the owner and the chef. Like, this is your behavior.
Facts.
Professor
It
Black
was
Ops,
terrible.
you don't have to worry about that because when we on our date, I'm gonna chop up your steak for you and feed
I appreciate it.
you. Look at these. She's like, I'm so uncomfortable.
I don't care about that stuff. She just gonna make sure your sizzle is sizzling. So make
I'm
sure
gonna
Sizzle,
you
make sure your
sizzle.
you get you
sizzle
a
is sizzling.
loaded potato or garlic baked potato, because she
Mm.
she all for that sizzle plate. We had Ruth
My
Chris
fault.
twice last week.
Man, it was crispy, the truth.
I'm gonna cut up your steak. You want it medium? You want it well done, medium rare?
Oh
Which
no,
thing?
well done. You messing the steak up, man. You
Well,
can't
I
I
do
tell
don't
that.
her
know.
that
I'm
all the
asking
time. I
you.
was like, that is like tough skins.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
That
it's
ain't,
Nah,
you just
delicious.
abusing the steak.
facts. Shout out to
It's
D. You can't
delicious.
abuse the steak.
Look, darling. I want to abuse you, baby. I want to abuse you. I'm gonna make sure you got some key lime in your water as you drink
Yeah, I
and
need
sip.
some key
I'm gonna
lime.
She
get.
gonna
Yeah,
make sure you
I'm
alkaline
yeah. I
gonna
and
got
make sure your
fine.
body
alkaline.
is alkaline.
And
You gonna
Dr.
get in the mirror.
Sabi.
You gonna get in the mirror and you gonna be like, this might be working. This relationship might be working for me.
This
This
Shout out
might
to
thing
be
is
working.
relationship.
staying.
Look,
This thing is staying. But you know
I
what? We went and got a trainer. We was
didn't get
like,
me one.
I was like, we gonna get one before the new year, so at least
Facts.
if we want to up it. I was like, because this ain't working for me.
Oh, facts. I got to get it together. 2020. I'm waiting for 20. Me and the rest of America, January 2022. New year, new me.
I'm getting it in now.
You're
So
getting it in.
by the time it's in, I can have
it's
developed
regular.
a healthy habit and just getting trying to get my schedule. And I get to have to get up at 5:30 in the morning, but
Ooh, that's
Crackhead
early.
hours.
I gotta go now. I gotta go buy a treadmill.
Facts. I'm about to go to bed though. I'm gonna have to cut out on y'all barely making it.
It's 12 o'clock. I mean,
Yeah,
this is a lot on a
I
Friday
mean, this
night.
a lot for you. You did good
yeah,
on a Friday
I
night.
mean, you was
yeah. I'm
out
like,
here
ooh.
You
shaking your
did,
groove
Sugar
thing.
Bear. You did good, Sugar
I
Bear.
know. I had to barely make it. I'm like, I had to come up here. I'm like, oh my god. And I'm like, Dita got me on relationships. What the hell done happened?
It's Sugar Bear. You did good.
I appreciate it. I'm trying to hang in
Hey,
there.
hey, I am just the facilitator of good times.
I feel you. I feel you.
Food,
Don't
fun, and what?
I could, hey,
facts, facts.
this
But
life
go
ain't
ahead.
hard.
You have a good night and be safe.
I'm
You
sure.
do
What
you
time?
you make sure people get your channel.
Oh, I'll drop it in there. I'll drop it in there.
Okay. He's like,
Can
I
I
got nothing
drop?
else to say. I'm gonna drop it in there.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm dropping in there and go to bed. I'm woe out.
Night night.
Bye.
Thank
That's
you
it.
for coming up. We
I
appreciate
appreciate
you.
it. You know me. I always try to come up a little bit.
I
I'm
appreciate you,
I'm
man. Be safe.
I'm sure I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be on
Yep.
be on tomorrow.
All
Yep.
right.
We'll be on tomorrow. There y'all have it, folks. We gave it. We gave it our all. If anybody else wanted to say anything, this is the last call. Last call for the
Last
alcohol.
call. Last call for alcohol.
Yeah.
Kitchen
Last
about to
call.
close.
Yeah, yeah. The like EJ speaks. Don't come back in my kitchen. The kitchen is
Kitchen
closed.
is about to close.
Yeah. Drop the link, D. Natasha, I see you out there. You in Cali. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I clear up the conversation that I had with them. It's not all about the like. It's really about you putting in putting in work, and Jonathan agreed on that. But it's also about uh, you have again those leadership principles from Amazon. You got to earn trust. You got to earn that. That stuff they don't come automatically. You got to earn that. You got to put in work to earn that, right? I mean, when we meet people, there's some level of trust that you have with that person. But since Corona, not Corona, since the Rona,
You was right the first time.
yeah,
The corona.
yeah, you people don't have no trust at all. Like back up. So I get it. It's one of those things, right?
And then I think the internet, it puts that veil of distrust because people are giving you what they want you to have, and then you have those people that are setting out to debunk who you are. Like,
Yeah.
exhausting.
Oh, did you drop the link?
Let's see.
No, you didn't drop the link. But Kevin, what's going on with you? Let me give my shout outs to everybody because I seen people come in and out. Q4, I've been reading your comments. Derek, I hope you still out there. Linda D, what's going on? Princess A, I see you out there. Jonathan just left. Hurricane, are you still out there? How you doing? Uh, see, before the billions. I don't know if before the billions is still here. What's going on, Darren? How you doing? Mary, hope you're still out there. How you doing? Kelvin, what's going on with you? Mercedes, you still around? We've been going for a while. Where we at? We're almost at 4 hours, D. What?
I know it's time to shut this thing on down.
Darren, we got 10 minutes. 10
Not
minutes.
really.
You got 10 minutes.
Not really.
Yeah, he could barely keep his eyes over there. He was about to fall out. Like
He did good though.
he did good. I give him that. I give him that. He must have had some steak earlier. Or Joe, I
He
think
was
it's
drinking
bedtime
that
at 10
soda.
30.
Oh, he's from the Midwest. He said pop. He was drinking pop.
Yeah, I think 10 o'clock is his bedtime. All right. But yeah, Tracy LA, what's going on? Yep. But I just wanted to make sure we got that out. I want to get I don't even think Dee even talked about all the stuff that she we tucked him in. I don't even think Dee talked about all the stuff that she wanted to talk about. I do want to share this real quick because I'm not gonna share it tomorrow. Dee, share my screen real quick. This is I posted this in Women in Linux, all right? this goes back to my diversity talk, or uh, the FBI is adding a brand new $1 billion campus in Huntsville. Redstone Arsenal bringing in 3,400 jobs by 2026. If you don't think people, all 3,400 people, and you multiply that with families and food and having somewhere to live, eat, sleep, sports, all of that is gonna be, go get you some property. Go get you a little piece of go get you a piece of property. I'm just saying. That's all I wanted to show. Like, go get you a piece of property over in Huntsville. Y'all can get together and buy something. But again, that's all I wanted to show you on that one. Well, what you say now? She said 10. Oh yeah, yeah, 10 was it? You know what he said? He said 10:30 is his bedtime. I didn't
He be
make that
acting
up.
elderly. I'm yeah.
He
Whew.
do. He do be acting elderly.
Like
You
you
can't
start
you can't
acting elderly, what you speak about, you bring about. Those words is powerful. Your body
Whoa,
starts
it's
shutting down.
me. All right, then nobody backstage, Steve up.
No, ma'am.
Look at her. She's like, yes, we can get out of here. All right, then. It's a good show. Everybody, I see y'all in the morning. I need to go finish writing the show. And we'll catch you. We'll catch you tomorrow morning at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time for Tech Stocks and Jobs, and then 2 o'clock for Highway Linux, where we'll go into a lot of stuff. Right, the police in Huntsville are horrible, and the FBI is going to be there too. They're already wherever you're at.
Already, wherever you at. That's what's funny in Atlanta. All the alphabets is in Atlanta.
All the soups is already there.
All the alphabets.
All right, y'all be safe and love each other. All right, bye.
Good night.